Why didn't I think of that? I looked in settings. Hello and welcome back. We went live. We're just discussing some back here setting options here in the back. So, welcome. This is the fundraiser for the Second Chance Rehabilitation Ranch, the Hollister, California trip. And so we have the amazing Michael Parker here. Welcome back, Michael.
Hey,
Um, but before we do this, I'm going to kick this off with that amazing um, video that you did because that was awesome.
Few wrong turns ago, back when I didn't know how to be a better me, a better shoulder, a willing heart to pull you closer, a human being human, walking miles in different shoes and trying to be a better me.
I love that video, Michael. Great job.
thank you. I threw that together pretty quickly.
You and I are going to have to talk. We'll see if you can get me a video for my second show.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's not what we're here for, folks. Today we are here for the Second Chance Rehabilitation fundraiser that we are here for. For those of you that didn't get to see the first hour, we're here for the rest of the night. We have got some amazing people coming on. We have got, oh Lord, look at this. We have got, should we start with that? Should we go with a teaser of what's to come?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to save the best. Well, no, not the best for last. Okay, we're just going to go in order of what I did last time. So for our tonight's auction, we have the autographed memorabilia from the Cardinals from Reggie Walker. We have hats, shirts. We even have a jersey, I believe. We have some leather artwork by Michael. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful artwork? Like, seriously. We have some 5 different veterans are going to get a 1-hour coaching call with the amazing Jen Zahari from Strong Foundations Coaching and Consultant. There are some drops and a 1-month, what is this? Consultation with Dawn Hill. We also have a 3-month membership or 3-month program from HTS Fitness. And we also have, last but not least, a 5-night stay in Hawaii up for grabs for our auction. So stay tuned. We are going to be starting that auction. Well, when are we starting that auction, Michael?
Yeah. So we'll be starting soon. I think we're sorry. I was apparently I wasn't connected to our Facebook. So we are now live on our Facebook and LinkedIn page. So I was taking care of that. So apologize. You have my full undivided attention now. But yeah, we have a bunch of different items. I was listening to you list them off. So yeah, like the autograph stuff. We've got an autographed jersey that we'll be auctioning off to that's a Reggie Walker jersey signed by him. And then we have 2 autographed Arizona Cardinals footballs that'll be signed by Reggie Walker and David Carter, who both played for the Cardinals. If not, that would be weird. And then a couple hats and shirts that we will be raffling off. And I'm pulling up my sheet over here because my memory's not that great, so I need to have my stuff pulled up in front of me. So we've got a little bit of a combination. There's stuff that donations will get you entries in to win. So the books that Dorothy listed, the Coordinating the Chaos, the Overcomer, When That Day Comes by Chris Hoyer, who will be joining us here shortly to kind of tell a little bit of his story and talk about his book. Those books, with every $50 that you donate. So if you donate $50, that gets you 1 entry into the raffle to win those books. So if you donated $500, that would get you 10 entries. Now for the autographed hats and shirts, That's a $100 donation. So actually, if you were to donate $100, you would get one entry for the autographed hat or shirt, and 2 entries for one of the books. So hopefully you guys are able to track along with that. Hopefully I didn't just completely lose you. And then also, as we were mentioning on the other one, and she said, I do some leather work. It's a side hobby. I don't get to do it as much as I would like. But I have these beautiful handmade crosses that are American flag patterned with a poppy flower in the middle. And I have 20 of these available for the first 20 people to donate $100.
Well, that is absolutely amazing. And you know what? I think we should. Too bad you didn't have more of those, because I think we could probably get people to buy them. Those are beautiful, like seriously, and handcrafted by a Marine veteran, guys. Hello, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, I guess it would help if we put the donation link in there. So I'm gonna be distracted for a moment while I put the link in on Facebook and everything. Okay. I think Chris will be joining us here very shortly.
Yes, we've got Dawn joining us in 15 minutes to tell us more about hers. She's at the rink with her grandson, so I kind of wanted to bring her up so she could come on and off. So just to let you know. But yeah, I'm excited because, like you said, tonight is all about second chances, and we want to give veterans a second chance, right? And that's what it's all about, giving our veterans a second chance. They gave up their lives to give us a second chance, and now we are here to raise money to give them back a second chance. So if y'all want to donate, because we're trying to raise we are going to raise $26,000 tonight. I'm saying tonight, brother, tonight. So, you know, obviously with auctions, that's going to help, but we also need your generosity. We need, you know, if you work for a veteran or if you work for an organization that supports veterans, I really want to hear from you. This was like a short, let's put this together, because I truly thought we were going out there September 28th. And that's okay, because I think we still are. I'm still believing that we're going to raise the funds in time for September 28th. Excuse me. So with that being said, you know, it's important that these veterans get their second chance. And if you've seen the first hour of the show, Michael shared his overcoming story. And in that, how that led to Second Chance Ranch. And so I loved his story, and I loved how you shared that every day we get a second chance. So it's up to us and what we do with that. And I absolutely love that you said that. And it gives me chills just hearing that some days, because a lot of us have that second chance and don't take it, you know, whether that be civilian or veteran. There's a lot of people walking the streets alive but dead inside. And, you know, when you get an opportunity like Second Chance Ranch, I think, you know, people should take that. And while we're waiting for a couple of people to join us in the green room, I want to share that testimony video again, just because I think it's impactful. So those of you that didn't get to see it on the first hour, we're going to share it right now. And we're going to share it throughout the night, only because I think that it is something that everybody needs to hear, right? And so this is why Michael started these retreats.
Part of the reason I ended up going was because my community just was pretty much non-existent. This last year has been pretty rough, and I needed to get together with the guys, and being out there was kind of a reminder to slow down and don't rush to get to the final result, because life happens, and to just enjoy the journey. And that's really kind of helped me refocus my life after coming back from the trip. It's like 100% I'm going to come out and meet some guys from the local area. It was great. You know, you put on a great event, and it was super relaxing, super enjoyable, and probably at least the highlight of my year so far. And, you know, thank you for doing that. Your organization's awesome. I grew up in Central Illinois. I actually grew up with 2 horses. And so it's been a long time since I got to spend some time with horses, and to go out on this retreat and not expect anything and then get the chance to go ride for a couple hours. I mean, that was awesome. 100% the highlight of the weekend. I had been out for over 6 years, and I had not been contacted by anyone until I've been to your retreat. And, you know, I think a lot of veterans just kind of feel isolated and alone. Once they get out, you kind of miss that brotherhood. There's not a good way to connect with guys in your local area. And so, you know, I would say it's extremely important. You know, the more we have opportunities to get out and connect with each other, you know, that's what's going to help save the lives.
Absolutely. Out in that fresh air with your rodeos and your camping, getting back to nature, like you said, that was one of the things that helped you. If you're just tuning in now and missed Michael's story, don't worry. Go back to my YouTube channel. It's there. You know, you said getting back to nature is what helped you, you know, come out of, or not come out of your depression, but help you through that. So I love that you said that. And that's one of the reasons why you wanted to start the ranch. So awesome. All right. Yeah. Michael has put the link to donate in there.
Yeah, let me know when. I think one of my good friends is hopping on here. I don't know if he's in here yet. But when Josh Burnside hops in there with Hiatus Ranch, let me know.
He's in.
Yeah, go ahead and bring him up.
Bring him up? Okay, yeah. We'll bring him up.
So this is Josh Burnside, one of my bestest friends out there, and I can't tell, he's moving around too much. Which one is that? Is that Simeon?
Yeah, he's so dang big.
So that's my service dog's brother. And to answer your question in the chat, Levi's in the other room because he would be doing the same thing, and I can't focus if he's in my lap like that. But he's in the other room hanging out with his brother. So a little bit about Josh. He runs Hiatus Ranch, as you can see there. They're doing great stuff up there in Idaho, helping veterans. Obviously, got a K9 program. Hooked me up with my service dog Levi. So I got to do a plug for them. If you guys don't follow Hiatus Ranch, make sure you do. Great nonprofit doing great stuff up in Idaho. Josh, you wanted to hop on here, so I know you got something to say.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to hop on and give our support, and I'm not going to donate through the link, but we are going to send you a check for $500, so that way it'll go directly to you.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So we're at $1,500 and we just started.
That's a good amazing start.
That's an amazing start. Thanks so much, Josh. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Love what you guys are doing, and want this to be able to be successful for you.
So, and a plug, we will be doing another. We were supposed to be teaming up for a retreat here in October, but I know for reasons we had to push that. So when did we say May?
May, yes.
So if you guys want to get out to Idaho, trust me, you want to get out to Idaho. It's freaking beautiful. Come join me and Josh out in Idaho. So stay tuned to Second Chance and Hiatus Ranch, because we'll be teaming up for a week-long retreat out there for 5 veterans. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do up there on your ranch.
Yeah, so up here we obviously do an equine program. And we have the service dog program, like Michael said. The participants get to partake in some of their training and daily handling. We have horses, donkeys. We got a henny. We got emus. I mean, you name it, we have everything but a camel. And so the veterans get to come out and, we start off, no matter if you're an expert rider or whatever, we start off in the indoor arena and go over all the basics. And then as soon as everybody's comfortable, then we'll hightail it up to the mountains and camp out for as long as they want. And, we try to teach some trades and crafts along the way, whatever the interest is. And yeah, just kind of tailor the program to whatever the need is. And something unique about ours is we don't never do any more than 5 participants at a time. 3 is ideal. You can really make a lot of headway with 3 people. And we also do suicide intervention. So what that means is when folks reach out to us and they're like, in a tough spot, and then we offer that spot.
That's awesome. Yeah, so if you guys aren't following Hiatus Ranch, you're wrong. Follow them. They're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. So make sure you guys find them, follow them, and show your support.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely, dude. Love you, brother. Thanks for hopping on here, and thank you for your contribution. And Levi says hi, and he looks forward to seeing you guys. Maybe we'll still make it up there in October to come see you anyway.
Yeah, the invitation's always open, especially for Levi.
That's the only reason I get to still come is because he's like, I want to see Levi. I don't care about you. Bring my boy up here.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you, Josh. We appreciate it. And you guys, again, just want to throw it out there. Remember, we have those items up for raffle, and some of those items. Well, first off, the first 20 people to donate $100. I guess I owe you this, Josh. But the first people to donate, first 20 people to donate at least $100 get one of these handmade crosses made by yours truly. And then every $50 that you donate gives you 1 entry into the raffle for our books. And we have Coordinating the Chaos. You want to throw those up there for me, Dorothy?
Yep, I can throw them up.
Yeah, there we go. So these are the books we have: When the Day Comes, The Overcomer, and Coordinating. And then so every $50 you donate gets you 1 entry for the books, and every $100 you donate gets you 2 entries for the books and 1 entry for one of our autographed hats and shirts signed by Reggie Walker and David Carter, former NFL players. Reggie Walker, retired NFL linebacker, played in the league for 7 years. David Carter's a retired NFL defensive lineman, also the first vegan athlete in the NFL. So these guys are awesome. And thank you to them. I don't know if they're watching. Reggie was supposed to hop on here. He had something come up last minute, so he may or may not join us. I wanted him to come on here and really talk about our relationship because, as I failed to mention, this is the first retreat where we are bringing veterans and former athletes together. This is something that me and Reggie have been working towards since – or Reggie and I would be the actual way. Reggie and I have been working towards since 2020 when we first connected and realized that the world makes us seem so different, but our journeys and our struggles are so similar. And so we're finally getting this opportunity to bring these two communities together.
And you know what's really awesome? One of our ladies that is in the green room that's going to be sharing her story, she says, where's the donation link? I want one of those crosses. So thank you, Holly, for that. And I know that before we bring Holly up, I just want to bring one of the generous donations that we have tonight. Let me just bring this up here, and then we're going to bring Dawn up real quick here. So Dawn is gracious to donate these drops. So I'm going to bring Dawn Hill up for just a couple minutes, so Dawn can share what it is this amazing product is, and so we could give her a thank you. So Dawn, welcome to the show. You're
Hi,
muted,
Dawn.
my dear.
Is that better?
That's better. That is better. So first of all, I just want to say thank you, sister, for coming on here and being an ally for our veterans alongside me here, and saying, as soon as I said, hey guys, who can do something for me, she was the first one to jump on. So Dawn, thank you so much. Appreciate you. So can you please tell us what it is these drops are all about? And because I know you could do it a lot better than I can.
Well, I don't know about that. You guys are awesome, and I thank you for wanting to help veterans like yourselves. So that's fantastic. I'm honored to even be able to participate. So I own Team Hill Health and Wellness in Oklahoma, and we are kind of transformations from the inside out. And the one product that started my transformation was the Slender Ice. We call them the skinny drops. They're not just for weight loss, though. They actually are body balancing drops that help to balance hormones, help to regulate the body's blood sugars, sometimes blood pressures, just kind of whatever the body is out of balance or stressed. All of the herbs and vitamins in the 2 sets of drops tend to bring everything back into balance. So as a side effect, you might lose weight. As a side effect, your hormones might come into balance. But there's none of those nasty side effects like all the medications people are taking to lose weight. So personally, I've dropped 106 pounds on these drops and kind of gotten my life back. So it also includes a health consultation with me. So if they are dealing with something in particular, we have other things and other ways we can go. But the drops are definitely the product that I think are so widely used and widely needed. Men, women, older, younger, it really doesn't matter. There's very little counterindication except you can't be pregnant or breastfeeding. So that would be the only thing.
There we go. And thank you so much for your generous donation. And so, like I said, so the bid, that's one of the auction items that you can bid on. So when the time comes, we'll let you know. Michael and I are kind of new to this, so we're just doing this as we go. And
We're winging this, and we're just praying for the best. I mean, we can start the bidding on that now, and so if you're interested in that, we'll start the bid at Dawn. We'll let you pick the number.
Oh, this is new to me too. So let's start it at $50. How's that?
Let's start it at 100. Let's start the bid at 100. So we'll start the bid on the body drops for 100. So if you're interested, put it in there. We'll probably have multiple bids going at once. So if whatever you're interested in, put that product and your bid in the comments, and we will be monitoring that. And we'll leave that one up for an hour. So at 7:30 my time, which is Central Time,
8:30 Eastern.
Yeah, at that time we will. Whoever's got the highest bid on that, we will call it a quits on that one. Also, just so you guys know, that the link that we posted in the notes or in the comments is just for donations. So if you donate through that link, that will put you in for the raffles. Once we have our highest bid on the auction items, there is a separate link for the auction items. So once we've picked the winners, the highest bidders on the auction items, then we will send those people the link to pay for their items.
And so if you're just tuning in now and you didn't hear Dawn's testimony, so for these drops, she'd lost over 100 pounds, but it's really for more balancing and giving you a balanced life. So your hormone, the side effect could be weight loss. Well, hello. A lot of us want that. Some people like Michael don't need that, but I mean,
I got the opposite problem. I'm trying to put on some weight.
Have athletes that use it to cut as well, like when they're in competitions, because it gives them a boost of energy. And so then they can do extra proteins or whatever they need to do to sculpt rather than to lose weight. So they really are kind of a multi-purpose drop. That's why I picked them, because I figure everybody could use them. They have a little bit of like a mood boost too. So if you deal with anxiety or depression, sometimes you'll see that kind of get better, mostly because that's usually in our gut, whether we realize it or not. But once we start to balance the body, we just feel better. So.
Oh, you mean that isn't from somebody ticking you off?
Oh, I think it's from that, but.
All right, folks. So the Slender drops here with a month consultation with Dawn. The opening bid, we're starting it at $100. And Dawn, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know your grandson's playing hockey, so we won't keep you. Thank you so much for being an ally here with us tonight, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, you guys have fun.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, my friend. So the bids are open for the Slender drops and the 1 month consultation with Dawn. Opening bid is $100. We will keep that open till 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. All right. So what do we want to do next, friend?
Yeah, let's see. I can't tell who's in this show, but I think I saw
Holly
that
and
Chris is in there.
Yes.
Let's bring up Chris first. I'll do a little introduction. I won't do him as much justice as he's due. But this is this is my good friend Chris Hoyer. Nothing but love and respect for this man. He's a retired Phoenix PD officer and author of When That Day Comes. And that's all I'm going to give. I'm going to let him tell about himself because we're on a roll. So I'm going to let him take over before I say something else.
Actually, Dorothy, if you want to block me out with that picture, that's better for me because, I'm like Michael. I'm better with radio than I am with facial. But
as John was saying on the last, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Amen to that, man. So
some of us got a little bit more of the ugly.
And I'm trying to do the whole beard thing again. It's not really kicking in yet, but when puberty kicks in, it's going to be awesome. I tell you. So no, it's an honor to be here, man. I just love you guys. I hope that you reach your goal, and obviously it's for an unbelievably worthy cause, and whatever I can do to contribute. Which, being a retired cop living in San Diego, I don't have a whole lot to give, but I do have at least 2 books. Good news is that for anybody that didn't see it, I got another copy here. My buddy Dave Grossman, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel, retired Ranger, best-selling author. If you're not familiar with his work, professional public speaker, just an all-around stud. I reached out to Dave during the ending of my first edition of this particular book. And he came back and gave me an unbelievable forward. In his words, this is not me. This is not me saying this. Is Dave saying this is the best law enforcement prep book he's ever read, which I don't think is true. I think it's just me telling all my BS stories. But I'm not gonna argue with the guy. He's an Army Ranger. So what am I gonna do, right? So anyway, the long of it is basically I'll be in Las Vegas with my amazing girlfriend, who's not here with me right now. I'm out in Virginia visiting my mom. But we'll be in Vegas in a couple of weeks for another conference, and Dave's going to be there. And I already plan on just calling him over, going, "Hey, Dave, come here. Let's have a little conversation." Because we already did this before, which was fantastic. And he actually signed about 10 copies, which went like super fast. I mean, it was amazing. So for you guys, what I want to do, if I can, is I'm going to hold out until I get those copies signed. And if anybody's interested, I'll sign them too. Not that I have any, just because I wrote it doesn't mean jack. Trust me. Natalie, my girlfriend, did all the hard work. But again, the long story, basically, it's going to be signed by me and signed by the lieutenant. And I don't know what you guys think. I sell them for $15. So you tell me what you think they should go for. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, so we're doing the books are for raffle. So with every $50 donation gets you an entry for one of the books. So you guys make donations. Donation links are in the chats down there. They should be on our Facebook and LinkedIn if you're tuning in there. So yeah, if you guys make donations, as we said, every $50 gets you one entry for one of the books. Every $100 gets you two entries for a book and one entry for one of the autographed items. And I was actually working on typing all of that into the comments while Chris is talking. My little thumbs only go so fast though. But yeah, Chris, tell us a little bit about your story and all the cool stuff that you've done. Why you're such a cool guy.
I'm surprised you didn't have time to finish because you know me, I never shut up. So, which that's okay. So I got hired on 97 Phoenix PD, first generation law enforcement. By the end of my career, I found myself being basically a critical incident survivor times about 100, as it turns out, including burying 17 of my buddies in the line of duty, and 5 since I've retired, and 3 of those to suicide, and clearly multiple complex post-traumatic stress, you name it, all the stuff that goes with it. Survivor's guilt times about 20. A lot of the stuff that came toward the end of my career is where I started to realize that I had failed myself. My first 18 years were great. Out there, hair on fire, chasing bad guys, able to do all the fun stuff, all the high-speed tactical stuff, and undercover, plain clothes, you name it. Just had a ball. I couldn't even believe they were paying me to do this. Unfortunately, when 2016 started, it started with 3 major back-to-back critical incidents, and followed up in May by a good buddy of mine that was killed on a scene that I was the first one there for. I was pretty much running the show on some tiny little level just because I had the eyes on. When the sergeant made the call for all the troops to roll in, it was basically a burglary call. Everything just kind of fell apart and went really bad. It was an ambush, pretty nasty gunfight. My first gunfight, but my 4th shooting. And I was basically caught up completely off guard with, what a gunfight actually looked like. Now, clearly, I've been through it before 3 times prior, but I had never been engaged in an actual battle like this. And it was something I thought I was prepared for. It turned out not so much. And combination of not understanding the dynamic of it properly and having 18 years prior of stuff that I didn't process through properly was what cost me my last 2 years of my career, basically. And what ended up happening was on my 20th anniversary, my best friend lost his dog in a deployment. So I've got a huge love for the canine community, and God bless you guys for doing that as well. So that pushed me back, over the edge again now for the second time in about a year and a half. And after that happened, it dawned on me that the last basically year and a half before I retired, I had pretty much just shut down and was doing what we do, first responders and veterans and stuff, doing the typical, I'm good, pounding my chest. Well, yeah, I was anything but. And so the way the book was born was basically out of me realizing that I'm not okay. And woke up one morning about 2:00 in the morning, got on my laptop, started pounding the keys. And before I knew it, I had over 1,000 pages written. And I swear the thing wrote itself. And my girlfriend, Natalie, tells me all the time, when we first met, she says, well, quit sending it to your friends because, this is going to be a real thing. So I did. I took her advice. And she did all the editing. Long story short, we fell in love, moved to San Diego together. It was fantastic. And now what she claims is that writing this book is what saved my life. And so a tiny little plug on the side note to that whole thing. Everybody here listening has got a story. Even if it doesn't go to print, it's something that can definitely help you navigate through a lot of your stuff. And if it does go to print, God willing, that's something forever. That can be for your kids, your family, your grandkids, everybody in the world. It can, like with my granddaughter, she can look at this thing in 20 years ago, oh my God, I had no idea that you did all these things, right? And it's a fantastic way just to kind of get it all out on paper and kind of heal yourself if you can. At least that's a starting point for me. That's what worked for me. And I say it all the time because I do a lot of public speaking. This is the Chris Hoyer way, a way, not the way, but it's definitely a great way to at least get the ball rolling and say, hey, you know what, maybe with, Michael and Dorothy's help, this is a good start, but I need to go a little bit further, and whatever that is for you. This is what worked for me. So that's my really, really short version of my story. So
I love that, Christopher. And you're right. Everybody has a story. And I don't know about Michael, but that's how my podcast started. I call it a show. Everybody else calls it a podcast. But to give people a platform, because we all have a story to share.
Amen.
And I love that you said that. And a lot of us are alone, or we feel alone when we're going through the shit, right? When the shit hits the fan, we feel like we're alone and we're the only one. And so that's exactly why I wrote my book, and that's exactly why I started the show. So thank you for saying that, because it's true. Like that's what we're all here for. We all have this. I wish everybody would write their own story. It is therapeutic, like you said.
yeah.
So Michael, when's yours coming out?
I'm working on it. Actually, I had about 7 pages worth, or not 7 pages, 7 chapters worth written, and I don't know what my cat did. It decided to sleep on my keyboard, and I can't find the document. So I got to start back from ground zero.
Oh, no.
And I was like, you know how long it took me to convince myself to write all of this stuff? Like, there's a difference in telling your story and writing your story. Something about looking at it on paper is a whole different dynamic. And so it was really hard. I guess because like when you're saying it, it's just like you fire and forget. But when you write it, it's like, oh. So I got to get back on it.
I don't know how, Dorothy, I don't know how you did yours, but when I started writing mine, I didn't do any proofing. In fact, when I sent it to Natalie, the entire thing was in capital letters, because that's how cops write reports, right? And she's like, what is this? She's a self-admitted grammar Nazi. And I said, there was no punctuation, nothing. It was just me. And I didn't go back and I didn't try to proof anything. I didn't try to fix anything. And I've been told this, Michael, you've told me this before too. I don't necessarily believe it, that people that have had conversations with me say it's like I'm reading the book to them, which is a huge, fantastic compliment. But that's not what it was ever meant to be. It was mostly, again, just me throwing it out on paper. And the more I wrote about it, the more it wrote itself. I mean, it was unbelievable. And so, in fact, I got asked today, another buddy of mine from Richmond, Virginia Police Department asked, he goes, did you do an outline before you wrote? And I said, no, I didn't have any plan whatsoever, except for just, this is what it looked like right here. And when I couldn't remember stuff, I'd write it down, come back later on and write more stuff down. I'm like, oh yeah, don't forget that, and that's how the whole thing went. And it was about a 1.5 years in the making project. And I tell you what, man, no kidding, no shit whatsoever. When this thing came in the mail the first time and I'm holding it in my hand, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, wait a second. I'm a dumbass street cop and now I'm a published author. I mean, who knew? Right? So that's where it was. And it's, Natalie says it's like my security blanket. I carry it with me everywhere, and I'm always giving them away and all these kinds of things. And, I'm not going to lie. The main truth about this thing is I just want people to know what I went through, the things I did right, but as importantly, what I did wrong and how I fixed myself, and now living the best life I've ever had in my entire life. It's been fantastic. So.
Love that. And I love something that you said earlier is like, everybody's got a story. That's literally what I say on my podcast is like, well, your story matters. A lot of times, like, we have this misconception. Oh, like, I was like that. I was like, I'm not writing a book. Like, who wants to read about my life? And then when people are like, honestly, I would be interested in reading about your life. And I'm like, really? So then I kind of started entertaining it. I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, let's put it out there. But yeah, everybody's got a story, and everybody's story is just as important as everybody else's. And so put your story out there. If you never do anything with it, don't. That's fine. But write your story, share your story. I know guys that have, just write it just to give to their family so that they know what they've been through. But again, yeah. So Chris, thank you for donating 2 copies of your book. And I didn't know until he got on here, they're actually not just going to be signed by him. They're going to be signed by Lieutenant Colonel, right?
Yes.
Dave Grossman.
Correct. Yes. Also,
if you
let me throw it out there. Let me cut you off. If you want to throw my email on there, whoever, if somebody does actually want to donate, and they do, hopefully, send them my way, and I will mail them to them directly, and I'll take care of all the shipping and all that kind of stuff. I'll drop my business card in there, and please, if whoever gets them, reach out to me, because I love to tell my story to anybody that's willing to listen, and and more importantly, want to hear their stories as well, so I can encourage them to take the next step, that if they need to. Some people just don't need to. I thought that's where I was. Turned out not so much, but here we are. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So when we pick out our winners after this, whoever the winners are, we'll give them your email so they can get with you to get those copies. We appreciate you always going a step above and beyond for us. And with that, remember, guys, $50 donation gets you 1 entry into the raffle. So let me make this clear. If you donate $100, there's a chance that you could win an autographed hat and a book. If you donated $500, that would be 5 entries for one of the autographed items. Look, I was a Marine. Math's not my strong suit, so I'm trying to do this math real quick. So that would be 10 entries into the raffle for one of the books. So there is a possibility. Those are 2 separate raffles. So there's a possibility you could win an autographed hat or shirt and one of our autographed books. So you guys make sure you get your donations in. And that's the link scrolling there at the bottom, or it should be in the comments on whatever platform you are streaming this. So you guys make sure you get those in. That raffle will be running this whole length of time. And then we will do a drawing after the fact, and we will notify the winners of their items. And
right.
Yeah,
And
Christy.
we will also have it on my show too. Once Michael has all the winners, we will announce it on both of our shows.
Yeah,
So
we'll make sure that the winners get notified. You got to fill out your information on there, so we'll know how to get in contact with you. Don't worry, we're not going to miss you. We'll just have to track you down. I'm better at that than I am at numbers, so you ain't got to worry about that.
And don't forget, for the first 20 $100 donations gets that beautiful cross that you made. Like, that is absolutely stunning.
But not this one. This one goes to Holly. Holly's already called this one. So
right.
This one goes to Holly. So I guess that means the first 19, 18, because we forgot Josh and Hiatus Ranch donated $500. If you guys are listening, you don't follow Hiatus Ranch, you're wrong. Go do it. Make sure you guys also connect with Chris down there. Awesome guy. This man let me stay in his house. I feel sorry for him, but I appreciate him letting me come and stay with him when I came. I asked him, I was like, hey man, I'm coming. We'd never met in person before, but I'd known him for 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'm coming to San Diego. And he's like, oh, Nat's out of town. You can come sleep on my couch.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, cool. So
okay, that was a brave venture, I'm not gonna lie. But it worked out. It worked out pretty good actually. So now open door anytime, man. No doubt. So
dude, yeah. So absolutely love you, dude. I appreciate you coming on here. Appreciate your donation.
My honor, man. My honor. 100% love you guys too, dude. So, and Dorothy, I need to be on your podcast one of these days, and then we need to trade books too at some point.
Yes. Send me your address, and I'll send you a copy.
Sounds good. I'll get it through Michael. So that way you guys can continue on with the important stuff, and we can do our personal business later. So
absolutely.
Cool. Hey, thanks for doing what you guys do, man. Love you guys.
We love you too. And yes, this is the first of many times speaking for sure.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so Yeah. So, you ready to put up our next? We'll put up our next item.
All right.
I want to give this one the most
Time.
second most time, I guess, to be bid on. And that's the 5-night stay in Hawaii.
Okay.
So a little bit about this one. This is a 5-night luxury hotel accommodations. So this one is valued at $1,845. I'm trying to read. $1,845. This does not include airfare or activities while you're there. This is just the hotel accommodation. But honestly, that's a good deal, because I don't know if you've never been to Hawaii. I will tell you it is expensive just for a hotel. So being able to save that money there, that's a good start.
Man.
You got anything
Sure.
to say on that, Dorothy?
No, I just say that. Well, what do we want to start the opening bid at?
Yeah, we'll start the opening bid on this one at 1,000. So the opening bid on the 5 nights in Hawaii is 1,000. Again, this is an $1,800 value.
And it's just the accommodations. We just want to make that clear.
Yeah, just the accommodations. But still, that's a good deal, because
Yes.
I remember staying in just the cheapest motels every now and then. When I lived over there, I'll throw myself under the bus. Get too drunk on the wrong side of the island. The buses aren't running, and having to get a hotel, and it would be like $165 a night for the cheap hotel. And these are not the cheap hotels. These are the top of the line, expensive luxury hotels. I'll have to pull it up. There's the list of them, unless you've got that information.
Let me see if I can find that for you, friend. I know. While we're looking into that, we do have Shay and Holly in the back. So let's bring one of them up, and I'll look into the information you're looking for, so that we don't have dead air. So who do you want to hear from next?
We'll bring up Shay.
Okay. Shay, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Happy to be here.
Hey, brother. Hey, while you're looking that up, Holly, I was reading Dorothy. If you can put up the BTS fitness slide there. So this BTS fitness, this is one of the items that we are going to be auctioning off. Shay is the founder of BTS Fitness, and he's going to give you a little bit of his story and his background. He's also an Army veteran and fitness coach, and a personal friend of mine. And I just want to start by saying thank you for your contribution. I appreciate it. I asked if he would be willing to help out with this, and he didn't even hesitate. As soon as I don't even think I got the whole sentence out of my mouth, and he's like, "Yes," and I was like, "Oh, sweet." So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So yeah, if you just want to give us a little bit about your background and your how you got into fitness and coaching, and a little bit about the program that you're offering.
Yeah, sure, man. I like you said, I'm retired Army. I retired in 2015, and I mean, fitness and owning a gym was kind of on my wife and I's bucket list, but it wasn't something that we really thought was ever going to happen. But kind of the universe lined up for us a few months after I retired, and we had an opportunity to apply for, at the time it was called the Heart First Award, something that Anytime Fitness did, where they selected a veteran to help them open an Anytime Fitness franchise. And so we were very fortunate in 2016 to be selected. And then in 2017, we finally were able to open the gym. It took us some time to like find the real estate and do the build out and stuff. And we finally opened in April of 2017. And so that's how we got in the fitness business. And then how we started BTS Fitness, which is an online coaching group we started recently, was basically out of necessity because like many businesses, I'm sure, can attest to, COVID almost shut us down. Like we almost lost a business because of COVID. So while we were shut down, in order to try to save the business, we pivoted to doing some of our personal training, which is a large portion of the revenue for the gym. We pivoted to online and saved most of our training clients that way. And then when we were allowed to reopen the gym, we kind of realized that, you know, as kind of a safety mechanism, to be honest, we need to have a alternate revenue streams going forward. And so we decided to do this online thing permanently and have it as another revenue stream for the gym. And so that's where BTS Fitness, the online version, was born. And so here we are a couple years later, and you know, helping people around the world now. Whereas, you know, we love the gym and it's doing great. But honestly, we're kind of landlocked into like a 5-mile radius of the gym. That's where 90% of our members come from, with the odd man out here and there for people who like live far away but work close to the gym. But 90% of our members are within a 5-mile radius. And so once we started the online thing, it opened us up to a bigger audience and we were able to help more people. So anyway,
That's awesome.
Long story short, that's how we started doing online coaching.
I love that, because if you didn't pivot or didn't know how to pivot during COVID, you were kind of up the creek. And so good for you for finding that pivot. And because I'm telling you, a lot of people had to find that pivot, and going to online classes, it was the smart way to go for sure.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty. We weren't very eloquent or polished, but we got it done, and we learned enough to make it through, and then obviously realized that it's something that we should probably do going forward. And we put better mechanisms in place, and we have licensed some software and some apps that we use to better serve the clients now. Whereas before it was just kind of like a hodgepodge of, you know, like Zoom calls and FaceTime calls. We have all that stuff ironed out now, so it's a much more polished product. But yeah, if we would not have pivoted, or if we weren't able to pivot, we would be out of business today.
Well, kudos for you for figuring that out, because I know a lot of businesses, especially where I live, you know, weren't able to do that. So, and that's awesome. And thank you so much for graciously donating the 3 months.
Yeah, my pleasure.
The 3-month program. So, my friend Michael, what are we going to start the bidding at that for?
We'll let Shay pick. Shay, where are we starting the bidding at?
Let's see. Are we trying to give people a deal here? We're trying to make it win-win, which I think we probably are.
Yeah. Let's make it win-win.
So this 3-month program that I've donated is normally a $750 retail cost for somebody who would just sign up online, and I would coach them for the 3-month period. It's a $750 product. So I don't know. I mean, $500 seems win-win to me to start the bidding.
$500 it is. Hey, so bidding's now open on the BTS Fitness, the 3-month training with Shay here. So that's open now. We'll run that one until 8 p.m. So an hour from now. And that is starting at $500. So you guys go ahead and make your bids. Again, make sure when you put in your bids, if you're bidding for the BTS, say, hey, $500 for the BTS. You can just put BTS. We'll know what you're talking about. Or if you're if you're bidding on the
Slim Drops.
Yep, those. Great part. Too many things run through my head at once. If you're donating or bidding on that, say, hey, donated on this for whatever amount. So that way we can keep track of it, because we are running multiple bids right now. Make it easier on us. As you can tell, I can't even keep my own mind straight sometimes. So you guys help me out a little bit. Remember, all of these bids, all of that is going to help make this retreat possible for veterans. And yeah, as Dorothy just put in there too, we also have the 5-night stay in Hawaii bid open. That one will run until 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that one starts at $1,000, which is still a heck of a deal. $1,800 value, over $1,800 value. So you guys make sure you get your bids in. Shay, you got anything? Any other words for us?
I mean, just let me kind of run down the list real quick of what kind of comes with the 3-month coaching package.
Yes, please do.
Just kind of build some value for the folks, because they may not even understand what we're talking about here. So let me just kind of run down the list of what they're going to get for the 3-month coaching package. So we'll obviously do an onboarding call with me, and we'll talk about their goals, where they are at now, fitness wise. And once we do that call, we're going to set a nutrition plan for them. We're going to set a workout plan for them, and we're going to build some daily habits into their day to kind of structure their life looking forward for the next 3 months. And then we're also going to do weekly coaching calls as a group into the BTS Fitness coaching group. So weekly coaching call. And we're going to track all of that in our app, in the BTS Fitness app. So they'll have direct communication with me throughout the 3 months, weekly calls, nutrition plan, workout plan, daily habits. And you'd be surprised at the progress you can make in 3 months. One of our current clients, we have a few clients doing a 90-day program right now that started on the 4th of July, or the 5th of July, actually. All of them are making good progress, but as you can imagine, we have a couple in there who are just knocking it out of the park. And we have one guy who's lost almost 45 pounds since the 5th of July. So just about 75-ish days. He's still got 2 weeks in the program. Obviously everybody starts in different places. And so, you know, how much progress you make, how soon you make it is going to differ from person to person. But man, there's a ton of progress going on right now in BTS Fitness. So looking forward to whoever wins the auction. Looking forward to meeting them.
I love
That's
that.
awesome.
And July 5th is going to be one of the best days ever.
Yeah, you definitely gonna get your money's worth there. You're gonna get your value out of it. And Shay's a good dude all around, and he's gonna help you transform your life. And you know, maybe you're just not happy with where you're at. Maybe you just got a little bit you want to lose. I'm right there with you. Not much, but a little bit. Yeah. So you know, get your bids in, and definitely well worth it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shay, for donating that for tonight's cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you guys heard that. Starting bid, $500 for the BTS 3-month training program, online training program. So you don't have to be where Shay's at. It could be around the world. So hop on that right now. Put your starting bid in the comments. And again, that starts at $500. So let's go, folks. All right. So, my friend, you wanted that video. I found the video. You want me to play that video?
Yeah, let's play that video. So this is the video for that 5-night stay in Hawaii, so you guys can get a little bit better idea about what you're getting with that bid.
All right, just give me 1 second here, folks.
Cue video. Thank you, Shay.
All right, see you guys.
Island cuisine. Discover incredible natural beauty and delve into rich island culture on your perfect Hawaiian getaway. Aston Waikiki Circle, Ohana Waikiki East, or Castle Hilo Hawaiian. 3 great hotels in this unforgettable destination. Aston Waikiki Circle, your exquisite retreat in the heart of Waikiki. Prime location adjacent to shopping, dining, and iconic beaches. Modern rooms, fine dining, and a rooftop pool. Unparalleled luxury awaits in this bustling paradise of Waikiki. Ohana Waikiki East. Experience the essence of paradise. Ideal location amidst shopping, dining, and famous landmarks. Stylish rooms, delectable dining, and a captivating ambiance. Experience your dream Hawaiian escape at Ohana Waikiki East. Castle Hilo Hawaiian. Perfectly situated near shopping, dining, and famous landmarks. Elegant rooms, exquisite dining, and an enchanting atmosphere. Unforgettable moments await in the heart of Hilo. Book an escape to Castle Hilo, Hawaii, and create lifelong memories. 6 days in Hawaii, valued at nearly $1,600. Immerse yourself in paradise's natural beauty. Explore stunning beaches and discover the magic of the islands. Your Hawaiian adventure awaits. Book your 5-night Hawaii vacation now.
So that looks like an amazing place to go. I don't know about you, but that looks amazing.
I'm about to say, as somebody that spent 3.5 years out in Hawaii, I can tell you, if you've not been, definitely got to get out there. It's amazing, and yeah, $1,000 for 5 nights there is a heck of a deal. Yeah, you're looking at spending more than that for just a hotel for that amount of time. So to get a luxury resort hotel, rock on.
Yes. All right, my friend. So are we going to bring the amazing Holly up?
I think she's waited long enough. So
I was going to say, you've made this amazing lady wait. It's all him, Holly. It's all him.
It's my cowboy, and he did it on purpose. We'll just keep bringing in more people. She'll just sit there all no.
Hey, we gotta save the best for last.
I loved listening to all these other stories. It just kind of threw me off a bit, especially Christopher, because one of my sons is a police officer. So that one really hit. His story really hit me. But anyway.
Oh. I know, Holly, you love storytelling, so I figured you wanted to listen in on everybody else's story.
True. It's very true.
So before we let Holly share her story, and I really wanted Holly on here, and I'm glad she could make it, because one of the items that we are going to be auctioning off is this piece that I did. So for those of you that don't know, I do leather work. I don't know if you can really tell the details and everything there. But this is a piece that I did just for this auction. And as I was putting it together, there is a poppy in there. So kind of like some of the significance there is, you got the soldier. Well, it's actually a Marine, but hey, it could be whatever you want it to be. It's a Marine with the American flag. And I was like, I need something else. And then, I kept thinking of Holly, and I kept thinking of poppies. And we know that poppies are used for remembrance. And so I put the poppy on there, and then just reminded me of Holly's poppy story. That is hard to say. Holly's poppy story. And so I just wanted to have Holly on here, and I wanted her to share her amazing story before we put this item up for auction.
I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. Well, this is timely, actually, because I don't know what Michael ever like you guys ever said about me before, but I am a storytelling coach with the Hero's Journey, and we have storytelling workshops, so it's a big thing in my life, and we have some new workshops coming up, and I've been working on a new story, and it's the one about my poppy cup. And Michael was the first podcast I ever really tried to tell the story in. And I was pretty much all over the place, but I had to get it all kind of condensed and, you know, be a good storyteller if I'm going to make an example. So I'm working on it, and so I'm just going to go for it tonight. You're my test run on my newest story.
Yeah, you got it, Holly.
Okay, so what does A Broken Teacup from Scotland, a poem written in 1915 during World War I in Belgium, and a current day that Canadian Army veteran from the Vietnam War, see, I screwed up already, the Afghanistan War, have in common? All three of those things converged for me on Veterans Day of 2017. And when that happened, I experienced a peace that's pretty much indescribable. And it was a piece relating to an experience, a shattering tragedy, the most shattering tragedy I've ever had to endure. But to make sense of this, I have to take you back with me to 2003, the summer my son Danny turned 16. That summer, he traveled in Europe with a drama group on a mission trip. Danny was a gregarious and popular athlete in high school, but he was also drawn to the arts, especially drama. Danny was also very faithful, very fierce love of God for God. And he discovered that drama in particular was a powerful method for him to express his love for God and God's love for mankind. When he came that summer, he brought me a gift. It was a cup with red flowers on it. And as I was opening it up, he leaned in and he said, "I got to tell you, Mom, it's a second." No, you didn't got to tell me that, Danny. I never would have known. It's beautiful. But no, Mom, I got to tell you, because when I went into the shop in Dunoon, Scotland, the first cup I saw was that. And it was the only one like it. And the minute I saw it, I thought of you. And I knew I had to get it for you. And when I was paying for it, they told me it's a second. And they said they would go in the back and see if there was any without imperfections on it. They came out and said, "Nope, that's all we got. Sorry." So I got to tell you, I'm sorry that your gift is a second. At the time, I had no idea what made that cup a second. All I knew is that my beloved Danny wanted me to have it really bad. Seven years later, Danny was in the United States Air Force. And on October 5th of 2010, he was killed, stepping on an IED in Afghanistan. That teacup became my most cherished treasure from my son. I drank out of it every day, and I wouldn't let anyone else use it. I wouldn't let them wash it or dry it even. We have a large family, and that cup was off grounds for everybody. I was afraid they'd drop it and break it. Ironically, in October of 2017, after having had that teacup for 14 years, I dropped it. It broke in half, and I noticed the edges were smooth, and I thought, oh, I'm going to glue this back together and turn it into a planter someday. But in the meantime, I put the pieces together and set them on my nightstand to keep it close by. About a month later, on November 11th, Veterans Day, I was reading the biography of Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. He was a World War II Canadian Army surgeon. He was also a poet. He's the man who wrote the poem In Flanders Fields. That poem describes poppies growing all over, around, and on top of the graves of the fallen soldiers where they buried them right after the battle. And several years in those days, it took several years, but that poem eventually went viral. By the 1920s, poppies had become known as a representative of honoring our fallen warriors in battle, and it was worldwide by then. I was just getting to the part in the book that said John McCrae was born in a place called Guelph, Ontario, when I received a phone call. That call was from a man who introduced himself as Tim, a Canadian Army soldier who served with my Danny. Danny had told us and his brothers a lot about a Canadian that he befriended in Afghanistan, whose name was Tim. My boys were all born right up on just below the Canadian border. So Danny had this affinity. He thought, yeah, I'm close to these Canadians. And he told his brothers, this Tim is going to come and meet everybody and do the fun stuff they did up there with ice fishing and dog sledding and all that. This was the first phone call Tim had made to us. 7 years. It took him 7 years to call me. And he told me that when he returned home from the war, he was in a dark place. And he needed time to heal before calling. I invited him. I, in fact, extended Daniel's invitation to come and join our family, to meet his brothers and sisters and all the grandkids now and the dogs. And he was enthusiastic. Before we hung up, I said, so where in Canada do you live? And he said, well, I'm from a place called Guelph, Ontario. As I was hanging up the phone, certain things were coming together in my mind. And I immediately thought of that broken teacup. And I ran to my bedside table and I picked it up. And I looked at the flowers, those red flowers that I'd been looking at for 14 years and never really seeing. That cup was covered in poppies. This is the one half of it. Poppies everywhere. At that moment, something washed over me, a new feeling. It didn't relieve the pain in my heart. Nothing ever will in this world. This went deeper than my heart. This was a feeling that went into my soul that was aching and had been shattered. When that feeling got there, it was an understanding. It was a peace that the only way I can describe was it is well with my soul. Because at that moment, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that my son was always destined to die on a battlefield. And that's why that cup was so important to him at 16. He had no idea. We hadn't even talked about the military at that point, let alone him going to battle. That peace removed every why and what if that might have been lingering in my broken heart. From then on, I knew that the events that took place just outside of Kandahar on October 5th of 2010 were my Daniel's destiny. Tim eventually joined our family in a family gathering up in northern Minnesota. And that first night that he was with us, after everybody had gone to bed, just my three boys, Tim and I, stayed up late around the fire, telling and sharing stories about Danny and his brothers growing up under the tall pines, running through, sloshing around in the weedy swamps on the lakes and paddling on the streams and rivers. And as the night wore on, the stories became less funny and a little more poignant. And finally, Tim opened up and he said that his recovery from war had been a long and difficult recovery. He told us that he was the combat engineer that had missed the IED that Danny stepped on, that killed Danny right in front of him. While we were digesting that, he went on to describe years of dark days, of substance use that didn't quite cover and numb that pain for him. And then he discovered suicide might. And there were several attempts. But he also told us that eventually, with treatment and a lot of hard work, he's in a brighter spot. He no longer suffers from flashbacks or nightmares. He no longer uses substances to try to numb his feelings. And he sleeps again at night. But he also wanted us to know that there was one struggle he has not gotten a grip on, and that was that every so often he finds himself asking if the wrong man came home. We sat in silence after that till I broke it and said, "The right man came home, Tim. What happened that day was Danny's destiny because of the love, the principles, and the integrity in his heart. Nothing you or anyone else could have done could have prevented it. Nothing. And that was not your destiny. Your destiny was to come home. So welcome home, brave warrior." This broken piece of porcelain, I can show you. I can't introduce you to Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae or even Warrant Officer Tim Nightingale of the Canadian Army. He's still active duty. What I can do is share with you the words of that poem, In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row that mark our place. And in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amidst the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. And now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep while poppies grow in Flanders Fields. This is my torch that my son's failing hands threw to me, and I've taken up his quarrel with the foe. The foe I fight is not the Taliban or disarming IEDs like his. The foe I fight is the confusion, the loss of meaning, purpose, and hope that our brave warriors come home to realize they feel when they discover pieces of their heart that they left back on the battlefield with their fallen brothers and sisters. And my argument is to anyone who asks, did the wrong man come home? Or why couldn't I save my brother or sister? Our brave warriors came home because it was their destiny, just like it was my Danny's, to die on that battlefield.
I have got goosebumps down my entire body. And thank you so much, Holly, for sharing that. Like, I'm kind of speechless at the moment, which doesn't happen a lot.
Every time Holly shares her story, like I'm over here almost in tears. But it's such a beautiful story. I remember the first time Holly shared her story. You know, I struggled for a long time with survivor's guilt and, the loss of a couple Marines that I knew, and hearing her story, so powerful. And that's the first time I've actually seen the cup, and it's beautiful.
But she started talking about poppies. I have to say, I went running out of my office and into my bedroom. And when my grandfather died, they had the color guard put their poppies on his coffin. And so I took one of the poppies, and I still have it 21 years later. And the Canadian Legion was making inside of the poppy. I know you're not supposed to do anything to it, but my mom yells at me every time. But there's a pin, and there's 2 poppies in the Canadian leaf. And so I put it there so I don't lose the poppy, because after keeping it for 21 years, I never want to lose it, right? So every November, Remembrance Day, I bring it out and wear it. So when you said that, I was like, I got to go and get it. Like, I have to go get it. So thank you for sharing that, Holly. That is so powerful.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity and the platform to share that story. And, I won't make this nearly that long, but I want you to know this is all I have left. Remember, I said there were 2 halves. There is another part to the story that I'll rush through here. Remember, I said I don't know what made it a second. It didn't matter. Well, I figured it out eventually. And it wasn't until this year. Again, I look at things and just don't even see them half the time, I think. But 20 years now, I've had this for 20 years. And this summer, while I was packing for one of our events with the organization that I work with, I was at my bedside table and I looked at the inside of the other half, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a blue flower. It had just one blue flower and the Latin name. And I thought, well, there you go. That's the second. It should have been a poppy with the Latin name for a poppy. So I decided to look up that name, that Latin name. It's Agapanthus. And I looked it up, and it's also known as Lily of the Nile. And I looked that up, and sure enough, it's a blue flower. And then I decided to look up where that word derived from in the Greek. Agape flower. And agape, is a type of love. Many of us have heard of that, and there's other loves. There's phileo love, the brotherly love, and eros, romantic love. And agape is supposed to be a boundless that God made. And we can have each other. Reading the definition, and it said that I had noticed was sacrificial. And I realized that in the divine of making it up, that it had a sacrificial power. And I ended up giving that other half to a dear friend of mine who struggles with survivor's guilt. He has 23 remembrance bracelets like this for 23 men who died under his command. And I told him the story, and he knew it, but I said, those men died a sacrifice, and they accomplished their destiny. That's a gift. And I reminded him, nothing you could do could have stopped it. You didn't cause it. It was their destiny. And you change that perspective. You're not responsible, but you were gifted with the privilege of being a part of other human beings accomplish their destiny. So that's why it was a second. So that was the last little piece, but you can't fit all that into one little story.
Wow.
Everything happens for a reason, and I just love that. It's one of those, like, it's almost like a fairy tale story. It's like there's no way something like that could possibly happen in real life, but it does.
If you read about it in a book, you'd think it was made up. Who put all those little things together? But yeah, it's amazing, and it people say, and it comes out sounding very trite. It used to me in God's timing, But, I learned, 20 years it took for me to figure out what the second part, what was made in the cup a second. And when I did, I realized how powerful that was. That was a very important piece to the cup.
And yes, and I can't imagine having that conversation with that gentleman when he said, did the right man come home? Like, I can't even imagine as a mom, like, hearing that and that, having the survivor there, like, what do you tell them, right? And like, you handled it so well. And I still get chills, and I can't even imagine having to answer that question, because obviously you want your son home, but like you said, that was Danny's destiny, right? And so, even though that's a hard pill to swallow, that's the truth of it, right? And so, like I said, I can't even imagine having that conversation. So, my heart goes out to you for sure.
Oh, thank you. Well, how beautiful it was for me too, that these were two Canadians, and that it was a Canadian who wrote the poem, and it was Tim who needed to know. And it was only because of the poem and what happened well over 100 years ago that that whole story could make sense to me and converge. And so he was a big part. And at first I was like, man, God used Danny to help Tim. But what happened too was when I said that, welcome home, brave warrior, by then his head was down and his shoulders started shaking, and he looked up at me. His cheeks were just soaking wet from tears. And he said, so many people have tried to reason with me about survivor's guilt for almost 8 years at that point. And the only person who could break through that false belief was me, because I was Danny's mom. I was the one who was hurt the most by what he considered a mistake. And I could tell him, because of that silly broken cup, that it wasn't a mistake and it was nothing he had anything to do with. And that's when I realized too that this is part of my battle with the foe, that I'm not, I started out just wanting to be there for families of warriors who didn't come home. But it wasn't long into my work with the Hero's Journey that I realized I'm also called to be there for the war fighters who do come home, to help them understand that this is the right men and women are who comes home.
Absolutely. And when you said that gentleman was in Guelph, I'm like literally an hour and a half from him.
What are
I'm
the
in
odds?
Windsor. I'm in Windsor, Ontario.
What are the odds? By the way, we live right next door to Windsor here. There's a Windsor near us. So, just those little things kind of pull together. I'd never heard of Guelph until I read that Lieutenant John McCrae was born or Lieutenant Colonel was born in a place called Guelph. And then less than half an hour later, I'm hearing that this Tim's born in a place called Guelph. I'm like, yeah.
Wow. What are the odds? And yes, that is powerful. Wow. Powerful. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Well, thanks for letting me be here, cowboy.
Oh, always.
I love my cowboy.
She's like, I'm going to tune in. I was like, you're going to do more than tune in. You're going to come on. And she's like, okay. Actually, I asked, but I pretty much told her. No, I'm just kidding.
I was thrilled. I had already reached out to Dorothy. I don't know if she told you, but before I let you know, I already reached out to her and said, this is the greatest thing you're doing. This cowboy is so awesome. And I told her how you added Danny to your list on your Memorial Day run. Or do you run the whole way?
Oh, heck no. The first year, yeah, I do. So for those of you like, what is she talking about? Every Memorial Day since 2004 or 2015. So a couple buddies of mine were killed in a helicopter crash about a week before Memorial Day in 2015. And so I wanted to do something to remember them. And so I decided to run that first year. And And when I was trying to decide how many miles to do, you know, our unit was VMM 161. So I was like, okay, we'll go with 161. I'm like, well, 161 miles is ridiculous. And I was like, 1.61 is not enough. So I settled on 16.1. And about halfway through that, I was questioning my decision. And I love my mom. She's like, well, it's like running a PFT and a half marathon, which, yeah, that's 13.1 and 3. That's exactly what it is. And she's like, you've done both. And I was like, yeah, not at the same time. And like, you got this. But then she goes, remember why you're doing it. And that kind of gave me that oomph. But I was hurting. But by the next year, my back was hurting too bad to even attempt to run that. So I started hiking after that. So 2016 onward, I've hiked my 16.1 miles with usually with a ruck with names on it, with those guys' names, and I'll throw on a couple extra. This year, I think I had like 400 names with me. I had all the Navy SEALs and SWCC that were KIA'd since beginning of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. All the names from Abbey Gate, my buddies. I had Danny's name. I had a few others that I was carrying for people. And then I always do it with my Marine Corps flag. And yeah, so that was and this year my Border Service dog got a tag along. And I think he was like, I'm good on walking, Dad, after that. But you know, it's one of those, it takes me, 4 to 6 hours, depending on how fast. It's not all day, but that's kind of, it started out originally as I needed to do it to get the emotions out. Now it's just, that's kind of my way of remembering and hoping that all the people that see me when I go out, just for that brief moment that they're passing by, they remember the reason for that holiday. Like, I'm not one of those that's like, don't go have a good time. Like, go have a good time, because brave men and women paid the price for you to enjoy that weekend. I'm just here to remind you for a brief moment why you're enjoying this holiday today. So yeah, that's I do that every year. And it's a hike, no running that far for me, unless I'm getting chased by something.
Well, I didn't know you did that. So, gee, we might have to do something here. I've done a half marathon, but
yeah,
it wasn't
half marathon's
for
bad
anything
enough. 3 miles that's okay, but doing them together, it's like, woof.
I shouldn't say this, but I want to say you wusses. Not because I could do it, because I couldn't, but I just got off the phone right before I came on with one of my sons, the one who's a police officer. He's doing a full marathon this Saturday. So like now he's on the week before, so he's only doing 16 miles. And I think maybe he said today he only did 8, but he's got it because he's got to let that healing, that rest kick in. The most he's done so far is 20. I'm like, yeah, 20. I couldn't walk. I can't think about walking 20 miles, let alone run 20 miles. So I'm pretty impressed with him. And he's no spring chicken. He's like 38 now doing that. I'm impressed with him.
Yeah.
Wait, that's young. That is young. I will not say. Hold up. You cannot say that he's not a spring chicken at 38. That's not allowed on the show.
Well, because he's my son. For me, that's old for my kid. I'm like, how did that happen? His brother's 40. I don't know how that happened, because I don't feel like I'm 38 myself. So yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Like, no one knows that I'm 47. So, and that I still feel young. I still feel like everybody says you look 25. So I absolutely refuse to say that 38 is not a spring chicken. Not on the show ever.
Now she'll never have me back.
I'm just kidding, but I do
He
apologize.
is a spring chicken. Yeah, 38.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I do apologize, Holly, for not getting back to you, and I will answer you after. This gentleman here decided he was going to say, hey, wait a minute, I need you to help me do a fundraiser. So all my spare time has been with Michael. I haven't been able to get in my DMs.
It was her idea.
Wow.
She's like, let's do something. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I
She tried to push the blame
watched-
on me. It was her idea.
It was actually Jeffrey Knight.
There
If
we
truth
go.
be told, it was Jeffrey
Knight.
of
And
Angels
he's not
List.
even on here. So
No, paging Jeffrey Knight. Where are you?
yeah, paging Jeff. Yeah, because I'm like, ooh, but yeah, that's a sprint. Going live for an hour. Like I do that every week. It's like it's okay. It's like we're going on 2.5 hours now between the podcast and this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? But with that, the reason I wanted Holly to share her story is because one, it's amazing. I love Holly and her story, and hopefully anyone that's listening, that if you're struggling, you're here for a reason. And if you're asking yourself the same question, I can't remember his name, but the Canadian Tim. There we go.
Tim.
If you're asking yourself that same question on did the right person come home? Yes. Your story's not over. And the best way to honor those that didn't make it back is to live your life to its fullest. They would want you to live your life to its fullest. That doesn't mean you forget about them, but you still go out and live your life each day, and they live on through us. That was something that I've learned on my journey. But I wanted her to share her story before we opened our bid on this special item, because as I was making it, the only thing I could think about was Holly because of the poppy. And I sent it to her before I even started carving it or coloring it or anything. And she's like, I see the poppy, and sent me the little cry face emoji. And I was like, oh no, I made her cry. I'm sorry. So we're going to open this item up for bidding for you guys. I'll show it there one more time. So we got the U.S. Marine, and we've got the poppy for remembrance and the American flag there. Holly, I'll let you start. Pick the price. Where are we starting the bidding at on this one?
Oh my. I
pressure's
hadn't
on.
thought about that. Well, you've got those crosses, which are smaller, that your people are getting those for 100. So how about if we start this? I hope this doesn't, maybe 250. Is that too?
250. So the starting bid on this piece here is 250, one of a kind. Also, I want to say that this is the first time I tried something this complex, and I was very, very impressed with myself, which
You did an amazing
don't
job.
take that as me being cocky, because for me to be impressed with myself, I'm my hardest critic, and I was like, wow, that's freaking awesome. Like I would buy it myself. But yeah, I tried some stuff I'd never done before on that. And when you're working with leather, like leather's not cheap, and one mistake can ruin the whole thing. So I'm like, oh, please don't screw this up. That's kind of my thought process when I do this. But I was very happy with the results there. So this tribute to service piece, I didn't really, I guess, give it a name. I guess the cost of freedom. I like that, cost of freedom. This cost of freedom piece, we're starting the bidding now on it at 250. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you put that in the comments wherever you guys are tuning in. Bids start at $250.
Wow. I like that. Cost of freedom. I love that name.
It's a beautiful piece of art. Thank you for doing that,
Absolutely.
Michael.
Appreciate it.
That's stunning. Stunning. All right. Thank you so much, Holly, for sharing your story. And we will talk. I'll reach out to you tomorrow when I have time after tonight.
After
after being out in here for till 10:30 my time. Because
I was
She's
gonna
gonna
say,
need a
after
break
you-
after this.
after you rest a bit, and no big rush. I should get going and let you guys. I told Michael I was going to pack today so I could do this tonight, but I haven't started my packing, and I have a trip tomorrow to where our play is hitting Milwaukee. We're on our
Tell us about
last.
that a little bit while you're on it. I
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
forgot.
I work with an organization called the Hero's Journey, and we are our founder is Lieutenant Colonel retired Scott Mann. He's also an author, Dorothy, and yeah, he's got a lot of books out, and the most recent is called Operation Pineapple Express. And if you might have heard of it back when they started during the withdrawal of Afghanistan. In fact, when they really started it, it was right before the bombing at Abbey Gate. But when a group of retired and active duty Green Beret discovered that they felt we weren't keeping our promises to our allies and getting them out. So Pineapple Express was a group of, and there were many besides Pineapple Express, but they were one of the groups that worked on getting our allies and our citizens out of Afghanistan. And that's his recent book. But he also wrote a play, and the play is called Last Out, Elegy of a Green Beret. And Scott was a Green Beret for 18 of his 23 years of service. And the play is on a world. Don't I wish? That's why I kind of made the funny when I said my son toured Europe. I made a little bit of a face like, well, I'm touring the United States, but he went to 16 countries that summer. Super impressive. But we're touring the States, and we are sponsored by Gary Sinise. And so so I work with both organizations right now. And every month we're in a different city. So tomorrow I'm heading for our city, our next city, which is Milwaukee. And the play it's not like anything anyone's ever seen. It really isn't. It's an experience. It's an immersion in the true cost of war. And it's not autobiographical, but it is biographical. It's a compilation of real people's stories. And it shows this protagonist, whose name is Danny, who dies in Afghanistan. So it's a little close to my heart, but Danny travels back and forth from Afghanistan home, which is many of our warfighter stories, back and forth, because such a small percentage served. They had to keep returning and returning. And the story shows the effect of those constant redeployments on not only the warfighter, but the families at home. So he originally wrote it for civilians to help them understand the cost of war, because, and I was going to say I was a civilian, like I'm not now. I still am, but I don't feel like it anymore. But I had no idea what was going on when Danny was deployed. He wasn't going to tell me, no matter how much I asked. And I know you guys don't like to tell, especially your moms, those truths, And so it's what it turned out to. Yes, it informs civilians. It's powerful for civilians. The first time I went, which is when I met Scott, I brought civilians with me, friends, because I was at a party the night before, and I just said, "You guys want to come to a play? I've got free tickets." I had no clue what we were walking into. I knew it was a military based, but they didn't have a person in my role in those days. So we just walked in, hey, we're here for a play, and the first thing I meet is Scott in his BDUs. They brought me backstage to meet him, and I find out they dedicated the play to Danny. I didn't know they had done that at that performance. And I find out that his name's Danny. He dies in Afghanistan, and my knees just turned to jello. But I sat up in the front row, and I was blown away. I do warn people, it's visceral, it's raw. the first half is funny. It's because all the camaraderie and the hilarity that, you know, our brothers in arms need to do to survive. It's funny. But the second half gets very serious, and the end is absolutely beautiful, healing, and powerful. And we walked out of there in the parking lot. I was the only one that was a military family person. The rest of my friends were just silent, not a word. And finally, one of them, who I've known since like first grade, guy who still has a ponytail down his back. Now it's gray. And during Vietnam, it was anti-war stuff, you know, not that, and this isn't pro-war or anti-war or political at all. It's simply the facts of what war does and the costs we pay. And my peace-loving buddy from first grade broke the ice. He said, I don't know about you guys, but I will never be the same. And that was exactly how I felt. And I contacted Scott and said, I'll do whatever I can to help this move on. And so I've been working with him now since 2019. And now I'm there for those families. I take care of them. I make sure they have tissues and water, and I sit with them and I cry with them. And nobody's unaware of what they're coming to. But even unaware, I was, you know, it was healing and powerful. And it breaches that emotion. So then people can start getting in touch. And the real bread and butter and meat and potatoes of the hero's journey is storytelling, which the play is storytelling. It's an example. But then we have 2-day workshops on storytelling, and at every play stop, we have a 4-hour condensed version of our 2-day workshop to help people find their voices and tell their stories. And the title we give the project of storytelling is The Generosity of Scars. Because when we open up and, like Michael did, and show those scars, we're relatable. And then someone else out in the audience is going, oh, I have that scar. I can, we listen to stories autobiographically. And I love what Christopher said about how writing is like a whole different animal. And I agree, because I've been writing too. Storytelling is different, but it has it's not, you never finish editing because it's live, it's dynamic, and it's always changing. It's never a script. We listen to each other's stories. We put it in our heads, and we give people a safe place to learn what we, like with Michael, what he learned without having to go through that dark time. And like Tim, when he told me, I had no clue. And that of what it feels like for a veteran to come home after watching a beloved brother in arms die, or being a part of not being able to save them. I had no clue, and that stuck with me, and that meant a lot to me because it made me think about Danny too. Had he come home, the odds are he would have gone through the same loss of purpose and meaning and hope and confusion. And that's why I consider that my battle in honor of him. So
absolutely. Well, thank you for doing that. It's definitely needed. And I'll have to tell my friends in Wisconsin about the play.
Yes, it's this weekend. It's Friday and Saturday. And the seats are going fast, but I have an in. I tell people, because of what happens, we sell out. We sold out in Nashville last month, and but selling out, it doesn't mean what we think it means. I mean, it's all the seats might have gotten sold, but there's always seats. People, cars break down, babies get sick, whatever. There's always seats. Plus, we have comps. So I have a little inside track. So if you know of anyone who goes, I could give you the website too that you could put up, or let them know. They could just go to lastoutplay.com, and they can get, that'll then they can go to tickets and it'll take them to the theater website. If they can't buy anymore, which happened in Nashville, like there just were no more available to buy, please give them my contact information and I'll give you that. I can send that when I get off. And I mean, I don't mind giving it, like this either. But I'll definitely get them in. So
Perfect.
because it means a lot to veterans, family members, first responders. And another thing I don't want them to be confused about, if they are veterans, family, military family, doesn't matter if it is your great uncle or great grandpa who served, that makes you a military family, then it's 100% funded. And that comes from our connection with Gary Sinise. He has funded this so that we can offer this to our veterans, their families, families of the fallen, first responders, and their families at no cost, including the workshops, fully funded. I don't like to say free because then people think it's probably not very good if it's free. It's awesome, but it's fully funded.
Well, thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for sharing your story, Holly, and your son's story. That his story lives on through you, and that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Holly, thanks for coming on here. We appreciate it. I always love it when you're in the room and you share your story. Just a gifted storyteller. And before she hops off, remember, guys, this beautiful piece of leather work is up for bid now, starting at, what do we say, $250?
$250, yes.
Holly
And
said
so-
$250. Holly said if you don't pay $250 for it, she's going to kick your butt and she's going to take it for herself.
I think it would look great. I think it would look great in that guy's office, the one that's doing the play. I think it would look amazing in his office.
Scott's office. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It would look
It'd be cool on the wall. We have a wall of honor that travels with us, and it's actually the only prop in the play. The play is so creative. I mean, his writing, his thought, his thinking is amazing. It's a beautiful play that you don't need props, but the wall is kind of a prop, but I say it's not a prop because it's real. It's a wall that has mementos and keepsakes of real fallen war fighters. And it's and what we do is every city we go to, and that's my job, in between our stops, I'm contacting families of the fallen in all the local areas, inviting them to come in and be honored and to meet the cast and the team beforehand. And we get up, I take them backstage, then we get up on the stage and we have a pre-show circle before the show. And we tell a little bit about their fallen hero. And then they have something, sometimes it's dog tags, pictures, letters, remembrance bracelets. In Phoenix, we had a woman whose fallen hero was a petty officer, third class, and used a whistle on the ship in making things happen for when the jets would come in. It was so amazing. And this whistle was this woman's grandmother's. So it was her hero's great grandmother. And that's the whistle that her hero used. And it had the original leather lanyard from 100 years ago, whatever. And she put that on the wall, which was just so amazing. And so the wall travels with all of this special, meaningful keepsakes, and they're packaged and labeled and well honored between stops. So they travel with us to every city. So I think that would look cool on the wall too, because it represents a bunch of real fallen.
That's right.
Heroes.
See, that's why you waited for Holly to come on, Michael, to bring that up. And so the whole reason why we're here tonight, besides listening to amazing stories, is doing a fundraiser for Michael and Second Chance Ranch, where we're trying to raise $26,000 for his next venture out in Hollister, California, to bring veterans that need a second chance. And so that's why we're here tonight. That's why we're having the live auctions. That is why we're having such amazing stories of people that either Michael's run through or the people that have gone through his program. And actually, we have a testimony right now, which I'm going to bring up, and we'll share this testimony before we bring up the next person. So just one moment.
Part of the reason I ended up going was because my community just was pretty much non-existent. This last year has been pretty rough, and I needed to get together with the guys, and being out there was kind of a reminder to slow down and don't rush to get to the final result, because life happens, and to just enjoy the journey. And that's really kind of helped me refocus my life after coming back from the trip. It's like 100% I'm going to come out and meet some guys from the local area. It was great. You put on a great event, and it was super relaxing, super enjoyable, and probably at least the highlight of my year so far. And thank you for doing that. Your organization's awesome. I grew up in Central Illinois. I actually grew up with 2 horses, and so it's been a long time since I got to spend some time with horses. And to go out on this retreat and not expect anything, and then get the chance to go ride for a couple hours, I mean, that was awesome. 100% the highlight of the weekend. I had been out for over 6 years, and I had not been contacted by anyone until I've been to your retreat. And I think a lot of veterans just kind of feel isolated and alone once they get out. You kind of miss that brotherhood. There's not a good way to connect with guys in your local area, and so I would say it's extremely important. The more we have opportunities to get out and connect with each other, that's what's going to help save the lives.
That's why we're here tonight, right? It's funny. I love Ari's story. Absolutely amazing. And he's, I've interviewed, I think close to 50 veterans by now over the last almost 2 years. And the one thing they do say is every one of them have said they miss the camaraderie. They miss, because let's face it, when you guys are deployed, you're together. You're not with your families. And so it's like having a family away from a family. So a part of what you offer is the camaraderie. And I absolutely love what you do, Michael. And so that's why we're here tonight, partnering with you. And so we have, for those of you that are just joining us, we are having a live auction. There are a couple things up for bid. I'm just going to bring
you want to
what
throw
we
up
have.
all the images.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up the images right now.
No, we'll just make it all go live now. Like, let's just set bids on things we haven't set and get the bids rolling.
Exactly. And you'll just have to excuse me. My computer, for whatever reason, is going extremely slow.
Well, while you're doing, there it is. Never mind.
There it is. So the highlight of tonight, we're starting the open bid for a 5-night Hawaiian stay. This is just the resort. The 5 nights in the resort. Opening bid is $1,000. We have the BTS Fitness, a 3-month program. Starting bid is $500 on that. We have the skinny drops, but it's not just for weight loss. Dawn was on earlier. It's about a complete balance. So ladies, if your hormones are out of check, guys, if you want gut health, definitely bid on this. The opening bid we said was $100. Plus, not only do you get the skinny drops, but you also get a month consultation with Dawn. Dawn is an amazing lady. Definitely want to work with her. Plus, we also have the incredible artwork that Michael put up. Starting bid is $250 on that amazing, what did we say? Cost of Freedom.
Cost of Freedom, yep.
Cost of Freedom. He also has that second leather piece there, if you see that. What are we going to say is the opening bid on that, friend?
Yeah, so we got this one here. This one is actually, what is it, like an 8x11, whatever the picture frame size is.
8x11.
So you can get a nice frame for it, put it in there, hang it on your wall. I just hadn't found a frame that I liked to put it in yet. But this one here, we got the mountains, and you can kind of see some of the details there, the moon, the flowers, and the little hand-done pine trees. It's kind of hard to tell. The screen doesn't do it justice. A lot of work involved in putting and making that one. We'll start the bid on that one at 200.
Okay.
So the cost of freedom one, 250 starting out, and then this beautiful mountains in the night piece of art, which is I forget, is it 8x11?
8x11. Yes.
Yeah.
8x11.
So you can frame that, hang it on the wall, make a nice addition in your house. And when we start that one at 200. Also, we just gave away another one of these crosses. We still got some available. So for your donations of $100, you will get one of these little handmade crosses with the American flag and a poppy on them. So yeah, guys, don't miss out on that. Also, remember, every donation of $50 gets you entered to win one of our 13 signed books. We have 2 copies of Chris Hoyer's When That Day Comes, signed, as we found out, not just by him, but by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. We have 10 copies of special edition copies of your book.
Edition. Special
Yeah.
edition. Yes, look at that. There's only 300 in print, only will ever be 300 in print. And so I'm giving 10 signed autograph copies away.
So you're entered for those. And then the last one is coordinating
the chaos from Dr. Christy Matusik. She is a holistic chiropractor out of Wilmette, Illinois. So she is a boy mom of 3, and she knows what it's like to coordinate the chaos in your home. So she's wrote an amazing book it's especially for first-time mothers, but as somebody who's never been pregnant but is a step parent, it helped me out tremendously as well. So if you're a parent, you need a copy of this book. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, you need a copy of this book. So that's also out there.
And then also with every $100 donation, you get 1 entry into the drawing for one of our autographed hats or shirts signed by retired NFL players, Reggie Walker and David Carter. Reggie Walker and David both played for the Arizona Cardinals. So we got some autographed Arizona Cardinal hats and t-shirts. One of the items that's going up for bid is an autographed football, Arizona Cardinal football signed by both of them. And we'll start the bid on that at $100. And then we'll go ahead and throw out Reggie Walker is giving a signed jersey of his, and we'll start the bidding on that one at $200. So hopefully Dorothy's keeping track of everything. Just kidding.
I'm writing that down, friend.
I have a spreadsheet over here.
And don't forget, we also have Jen Zahari from Strong Foundations. It has graciously donated a 1-hour consultation for 5 different veterans. So that is a value of over $165 per coaching session that she's graciously donated. So what, friend, are we doing with that one?
Yeah, let's start those ones at, what do you say, 75? And
75, yes.
Now the stipulation is it is for veterans. So if you're not a veteran, but you want to bid on it for a veteran that you know, I'm more than welcome to do so. but yeah, we'll start those bids at 75.
Perfect.
Or you want to just, well, yeah, we'll go bids. We'll make that a bid item.
Okay. Cool. So lots, guys, lots to choose from. We've got another hour and 15 minutes, roughish, before this ends tonight. So all you have to do is in the comments, tell us what you're bidding on and your bid amount. And we'll close it out at the end of the night. If you have any questions, though, in the comments, put your questions in the comments. If you're like, Dorothy, I forget what it is, but I want to bid on it. So don't forget, our bid auction items are the mountains. We're starting off at 200. Cost of Freedom, we start at 250. The 5-night Hawaiian hotel stay start bidding at 1,000. The 3-month program for BTS Fitness, we're starting off at 500. The Skinny Drops with the mount consultation, we're starting off, we said 100. 100. We're starting the opening bid for Jen's coaching at 75 per coaching session. And we're starting the opening bid for the football at 100. And what did we say the jersey?
We'll start that one at 150. Let's say 150 on the jersey.
For a signed autographed jersey of Reggie Walker. Reggie Walker. Like, come
Unfortunately, he was supposed to join us. Fortunately, he had some stuff come up last minute and he couldn't be here. But Reggie, dear friend of mine, great guy. And him and I, dude, we first met 3 years ago, and just instant friendship. I gotta admit, I was one of those people that like, what's a former professional athlete know anything about what a veteran goes through? But when he started talking about his time in the league and transitioning out and his struggles after his uniform came off, I was like, wow, like maybe this guy does understand a little bit about what we go through. Different worlds, but very similar transitions. And our retreat that we're doing in Northern California is actually the first one where we're going to be bringing veterans and former professional athletes together. So both David and Reggie will be joining us out there on that retreat, and gracious for their contribution of the autographed items for us to auction off here to make that retreat possible. But I think we're going to take a pause for like 30 seconds and catch our breaths while you guys digest everything that we just said. And we'll get all those numbers put in the comments for you.
Few wrong turns ago, back when I didn't know how to be a better me, a better shoulder, a willing heart to pull you closer, a human being human, walking miles in different shoes and trying to be a better me.
I love that. We need to put that to a minute, friend.
I know. I'm like, man, I wish I made that a minute long. Little intro. Shout out to my friend Stephen Cade, who wrote that song. If you like that song, check out the full version. It's on YouTube or not YouTube. It's on iTunes or Apple, whatever it's called nowadays. And that song's Better Me by Stephen Cade. He's got some other really good ones, but absolutely love that one there.
Absolutely.
We got a couple other guests here hanging out with us behind stage. I think it's time we bring them on up here. We got, I'll introduce John and then I'll let you introduce Mark. So we got my good friend, John Norrid, who I was giving crap earlier during the interview, but absolutely love this man. Retired Marine gunnery sergeant, and just all around awesome guy.
And we have Mark Roethlisberger, who is a firefighter out of Lakeland, Florida, or in that area, who is also works with an organization called Heroes, Badges, and Warriors, who is for first responders and veterans. So Mark knows what it's like to be on the first responder side. And so he's here to share a little bit of his journey and about what Camaraderie Rescue or Heroes, Badges, and Warriors is all about. Sorry, they changed their name. And yes, I'm on the board of that. And you'd think I would get my shit together, but it is 9 o'clock at night. And I've been up since 3:45.
I'm about to say I struggled because I knew it when it was Camaraderie Rescue Mission, and actually, as Mark and Dorothy know, worked with Camaraderie Rescue Mission on a few retreats last year. And so when I hear Heroes, Badges, and Warriors, I'm like, huh? And they're like, Camaraderie Rescue Mission. I'm like, oh yeah. So still making the association in my head over here too.
Yes.
But
So
gents, thanks for joining us.
thank you guys. So who wants to go first in sharing a little bit about their journey? Don't
I'll
talk
speak
all at once.
I was going to defer to age over beauty. So, John?
Yeah. So, as they said, I'm a retired Marine. I'll be 51 in 2 months. So, yeah, you pencil all the gray. So, but as Michael was saying, yes, I'm a retired Marine. Multiple combat tours. I was severely wounded in one of those tours, which ended my career. Floated around a little bit, had some problems, dealt with traumatic brain injury and PTS. Had a lot of struggles, got in trouble with the law. I went through a bad divorce, had trouble with the law, was formerly incarcerated, and started changed my whole life, changed my whole outlook, started getting the help I needed and healing. And then I found through that platform on LinkedIn here, other veterans like Michael, and we've been working together. And also I work with other veterans trying to help veterans helping veterans. It seems like there's more success that way. You're not going to get the help you think you're going to get from other resources. So we are teaming up. I teamed up with other veterans to help those, and those are the ones that are hurting. Those are the ones that been down a dark path, and I have been there, so I can connect with them. One of the things me and Michael connected on is I've had my issues with suicide, dealing with it directly. Both a lot of my friends from returning, and then also my own fight with it in years past. So coming on here after Holly, I was blown away. Whenever you got a Gold Star mother on there, it's just the utmost respect, and it crushes me. But yes, the Gold Star mothers, their story and her story, just like I said, those of us that have that survivor's guilt, we come home, and we have to face their families, and that is brutal. So.
I guess I muted myself.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Hold on, let me bring Michael back. He's sliding.
I was gonna say, yeah. Sorry, I had to get up and stretch for a minute. So I don't want you guys seeing my butt or whatever. Yeah, John, thanks for jumping on here. John is a piece of wisdom and proof that exactly like myself, right? Second chances. We all make mistakes in life. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're little, but it's not about the mistakes you make. It's what you do after them, right? The only time you fail is when you don't learn from it and you give up. And well, before I was going to dive into something, but I want Mark to introduce himself before we dive into anything.
Name's Mark. I'm a firefighter, 17 years on the job. On leave right now, so it's nice not to have to shave. First time in 17 years I've been able to grow a beard. It's an amazing feeling. Yeah, a little bit dealing with some post-traumatic stress as a result of the job and the experiences that we have, and dealing with multiple suicides within my department kind of led me to Heroes, Badges, and Warriors. Um, Actually, the founder kind of, I could say, made the mistake of answering the phone when I was processing the death of a fellow firefighter that we didn't know was struggling and we didn't know was hurting. And it's a guy that I got hired with, worked closely with, was a preceptor for him in went through paramedic school, and it hit hard. Out of the last 5 and the last 4 years, he was the hardest. 4 of the 5 I had worked closely with throughout the last probably 10 years of my career. And so dealing with that, and as well as on top of dealing with the calls and some of the traumas and the tragedies that I've had to experience throughout the job is taking its toll. And finding it and then getting the chance to meet Michael and hearing what they do, and finding it for myself that camaraderie, that fellowship, and that brotherhood is gone. I'll flat out say it, and I'm sure I'll probably get some hate mail from firemen up north where it's still strong, that or some of those that are in disbelief, but for the most part, it's gone. The brotherhood that was there when I got into the fire service and what allured me to it isn't there anymore, and that leaves a feeling of isolation, and that's probably the biggest thing. And I know our veterans, our warriors, when you guys come back from deployment, when you guys transition out, that brotherhood's gone. And please, John, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but that brotherhood that you had for that long time is gone, almost over, pretty much overnight.
Yes, yeah, it's you're right.
And that's something that experiencing that myself now, seeing it with the fire service, I've developed more of an understanding for what our veterans go through with that, and being able to bring people together. And that's the biggest thing, is creating that community. And that's what, through the retreats with Second Chance Ranch, is giving these guys those second chances. That's what we do with Heroes, Badges, and Warriors, is try to build that community and bring the people together. Because at the end of the day, we're all hurting. We all have our scars that aren't seen. We all have our scars that nobody sees. You look at, I know, for myself, I'll tell them myself, I got no problem with that. It's a daily struggle for me just to make it through. With everything, some days are better than others. And, outside, I'm a rock. When the tones drop, when the call comes out, when we hit the road, it's game time. Nobody standing there knows or sees or can fathom, the 3-year-old that we just pulled out of a pool right before that. Or the toll that takes, or the toll that years and years of repetitive calls, of repetitive, traumatic experiences takes on somebody. And I forgot completely. My mental train just wrecked. We just went off the tracks. It's just derailed.
And that's okay. That's okay, Mark. I thank you for sharing your story. And I know when you first come to Heroes, Badges, and Warriors, hearing your story there, it was just like powerful. And like, it had a little bit to do with with our veterans, but not a lot to do with first responders. So when you shared that you had just lost 2 men in your department, my heart just sank. I'm like, you know, it was fresh. It was new when I first met you, and I can't imagine what it is that you guys were going through, losing 2 right away. And so it just reiterates why we're here, right? And to make sure that our heroes, badges, and warriors get the help that they need, whether that be like doing these retreats. Why we're here tonight is doing that, doing this fundraiser for Michael's retreat, which, correct me if I'm wrong, we are going to be doing a retreat in Florida probably next year with Heroes, Badges, and Warriors and Second Chance Ranch coming together. I believe that's in the works. So I know that we'll be working closely no matter what. And I love that. I love that. I love working with all of you.
So that was, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll go after.
I was going to say that getting a chance to meet Michael and talk to him last week about the NorCal trip and what he's doing was the exact same thing that I talked with our founder, with Greg Bicknell, about the night that I kind of went off the rails trying to process, losing a brother. And was doing these retreats. And I'm excited to team up with Michael with Second Chance Ranch to bring in some Florida retreats. I've heard rumors around the various committees and brain trusts that the Dry Tortugas are not off the table. No promises, just I'm excited for it. I'm excited for what next year's going to bring with that. But more importantly, the more we can help, the more people we can connect, whether it's through, through Second Chance Ranch with Michael, whether it's through Heroes, Badges, and Warriors, whether it's through Holly's organization. She had me blown away when I tuned in with her story, and that was powerful. That was impactful. But no matter what, and I hope we have, a ton of veterans, a ton of first responders see this, and can realize that you're not alone. And the other thing, realize you're not alone. That person is sitting right next there beside you. They're going through something too. They've been there. They're there. Trauma knows no level of experience. Something in my work, being involved in the peer support team with my department, and just being there and being aware, knowing the struggles that I've dealt with post-traumatic stress, and talking to a lot of younger guys, there's this stigma that they can't be affected by what happened because they don't have the time on. And I'm not so sure, I don't know as much in the military. That's a life that I didn't lead. And I'd look to John and Michael to jump in if it's the same thing. But in the fire service especially, and I'll speak to that because I know it carries over in the law enforcement as well, it's almost like if your trauma to count, you have to experience years and years and years of trauma before it's given any type of credence. And it's almost, guys wear it almost like a badge of honor, and it really isn't. It's something we all go through, and it's something that is unique. The response to it is unique to the individual. So there's guys, and I look at them that when I hear just recently talk to a guy 6 years on, he's like, "Oh, I haven't seen as much as you. I'm not. I don't. Have the same experience as you. And it's like he starts telling me some of the stuff that he's experienced in his short career, and I'm like, dude, go talk to someone. The amount that he's seen in his short career, in his first 6 years of his career, was mind-boggling. And that goes to, it all depends on where you're at. geographically and the call that comes in. I'm not sure with the military. I'm sure that it's similar, especially when you're talking multiple deployments. John, Michael, I'll let you guys weigh in on that.
Yeah, I can talk about it. I had almost 20 years of service, and then I did time as a private security contractor. So I have close to 12 combat tours. In that time, I probably knew close to well over 100 people. I went to 17 funerals in 4 years. A third of those were from suicides. In the Battle of Fallujah, I lost 12 Marines. When we came home, we had 43 Marines that were lost to suicide. And it was like we were getting calls every other day. I was a casualty assistant call officer as a staff NCO, and was actually having to go to the families and notify the families of the death of their loved one. Some of these Marines I knew personally. That started me to abuse alcohol, and I had several suicide attempts. I was also fighting and struggling with traumatic brain injury and PTSD, and I had severe PTSD and didn't want to admit to it. I come from a warrior culture, and my culture, being in the infantry and coming from that warrior culture, we don't ask for help. We don't talk about it. We don't quote unquote whine. What I love about what Michael's doing with his ranch, and what connected me so much with Michael, is you're getting these guys together and you're getting them to talk in a safe environment with other veterans, just like with first responders and firefighters. Now, I know a lot of firefighters and a lot of former Marines that became fighter fighters, and the PTSD is very similar. Trauma is trauma. You know, even what Michael went through. I never liked that whole, well, I've seen more, you've seen more. I don't care if it's one incident, one tour, one fire, one combat tour. It's trauma, and it's going to impact you for life. We used to have a running joke when it came to the firemen. It's like, firemen just think Marines are crazy because we run towards, gunfire. And I was like, yeah, but anybody who runs in a burning house has got bigger cojones than I could ever dream of. And that's just my personal belief. I have nothing but the utmost respect for firefighters and police. They're out there putting their butts on the line every day. And again, if I could help them, and I could help Marines by working with Michael and trying to get people to donate, trying to get this ranch going, trying to get more of these trips going. Again, my goal and my mission and my point on this is I want to take that 22 to 0. I can't handle another brother going into the ground, or hearing about another brother or sister going into the ground. It's absolutely devastating. Like I said, this has been 10 years for me to heal and get to the point where I could sit in front of y'all and talk about this. I've been through that pain. I crawled into a bottle. I crawled into violence. Like I said, I went to prison, and these are things that I had to struggle and fight with on my own and crawl out of that. And I can tell you that I've been down that wormhole. So if my story or this ranch can help somebody not go down that same path, can understand that you have worth, there is meaning, there's a new mission for you. Being a Marine or a firefighter or a cop, it doesn't define you. That's just something you did at one time. Now you have to move on. You have to take time off. There's a new life. There's a new life. The way I had to put it was, Holly said something that I talked to Michael about. I'm living today for the guys that aren't here. I can't change what happened. I can't relive what in every combat tour when I lost somebody. So the only thing I can do is I can live for them, and I can do something better each day. I can try to help those that are still left living, because they're in paradise. They're not hurting anymore. I'm hurting. So me suffering over their loss is not helping me. So I need to push forward and live for them. And that's what I'm trying to help with other Marines. I'm trying to help with other veterans, first responders. I'm trying to jump on board with Michael on this to get the word out and help as many as I can, no matter what it is, whether it's my story or just talking to somebody on the phone or meeting someone like yourself, Mark, just hanging out and talking.
So that story and talking about the stories for the old guys, and I'm going to include myself in with some time on the job, but the guys that have been doing it to be able to humble themselves is truly what's powerful and truly what's going to change. Yeah, they're going to break and I hate saying the stigma, that there is a stigma, and it sucks and it's horrible that there is a stigma around PTSD, PTS, and mental illness and mental health. And I was guilty of that too until it happened to me. And that was part of it for me is I'm going through something. I don't want somebody else to go through what I'm going through. And I think that's pretty much everyone here. And I'm sure most people that are, everyone out there in the audience, everyone that's watching this, going to watch this, they're watching because they went through something. And, you went through something. And if somebody can learn from my story, if somebody can learn from sitting down and having a conversation, just that they're not alone, that they're not broken, that there's nothing wrong with them, that they can overcome, that they can step up and they can change what they have and change the trajectory, even on the darkest days. Someone has to bring that light. And that light is what leads you through. And sometimes you have to make it for yourself. Sometimes you don't. I had the opportunity to go speak to who's become one of my favorite authors, and somebody that helped me, reading his book and listening to his podcast, helped bring me out of some of my darkest days, and that's Travis House. Look him up. Firefighter, former Marine, law enforcement. He lost 9 of his brothers during the Charleston Furniture Superstore fire, and he talks about his experience. And it's because I'm a firm believer, giving credit where credit's due. I'm not going to steal his words, but something he brought in his seminar that I got the chance to attend was one of the first things that we're taught in the Marine Corps. You get in trouble, what do you do? Michael, John?
You lie.
Well, I was like, wait, hold on. Is this a trick question?
You deny.
You're in combat and you're getting overrun. What do you do?
Easily, you fight back. You man up.
Well, you fight. All right. Okay. I should have known better than to ask a bunch of Marines. But it's your squad against 2,000 enemy.
Airstrike.
Well, you call for help.
Yes, we call for help. We're going to have airstrikes. We're going to have a QRF. You call for help.
Exactly. In law enforcement, you call for backup. You get in over your head, you have something going on, you're calling for backup. In the fire service, we call a mayday. And it is second nature. It's so ingrained in our head that when we're at that point, that we're calling for help. That when we realize that we can't, on the job, that we can't deal with it, that we need more help, that what we have isn't, we call for the help we need. And when we realize we're in trouble on the job, we call a mayday, we call for a QRF, we call for backup. We don't do it when we get home.
Correct.
There is not one guy that I can think of and that's taken their life that it could have been prevented if they would have called, to call for help. But at the darkest times, you're not thinking that way.
Correct.
And then what happens? One of the last people that, at least in the fire service, that it's trended that guys have called, the guys that have ended up taking their lives and reached out to, was their officer on their day off who didn't answer the phone. And that's the biggest thing. And one of the takeaways from it is answer your phone. You never know who's on the other end, especially if somebody if it's a friend, what they're going through, that you may be that lifeline. They're reaching out to you for a reason. And it may just be that, that friendly voice that, hey, somebody cares about me. That happened to me today. Last night was not a good night for me. As I said, I've been struggling with a lot, and it wasn't a good night. Today, I get a text from a friend. Hey, what are you doing? And I initially took it of just, hey, wanting to hang out. I'm like, well, I got the podcast, I got this, I got that, I got all this stuff, going on today. Oh no, I was just seeing how you are, making conversation. And it was just that simple act of a friend texting me, "Hey, what's going on today? How are you doing? What do you got planned?" That changed my day. Immediately turned, a day of trying to drag myself up out of the darkness from last night, and was that light of, hey, somebody cares. And when you get to that darkness, you have to find somebody that cares. Somebody does. And you will find someone at some point. And just get on the phone.
You're right.
Yeah, I got a general rule of thumb there. If somebody is on my mind, because sometimes we'll get people that just pop up randomly in our heads. My general rule of thumb is if somebody's on my mind, reach out to them. Either try calling them or texting them. Usually I try to call, and if they don't answer, I'll send a text, because I've been, like you said, that person who somebody's called me and they're like, "You were just on my mind." So I reached out and I'm like, dude, like I'm barely making it today, right? And it's been the other way around too, where I've reached out to somebody and they're like, "Dude, life is rough," So you never know. You could save somebody's life just by following that intuition, checking in on your buddies. Like, we hear that all the time. Just pick up the phone, call your buddies. You never know what they're going through. But just like you said, being there for people. And I wanted to address something that you mentioned earlier. You were talking about like that firefighter who's like only been on the force 6 years, right? And he's like, "Well, I haven't been through as much as you." It doesn't matter. That's what we call comparative suffering. And veterans, that looks like, well, I haven't done what John's done, right? Like I've not been to combat. I've not done this. I've not done that. And even on that level, well, I didn't do what that guy did. It doesn't matter. Like, your story is your story. We all have a different story. And like you said, like, how we get the trauma can be very different. But I'm willing to bet if we all sat down and said exactly what we were dealing with, we'd all be like, dang, me too. It impacts us very similarly. There we go. Third time's the charm. So it's about breaking that stigma of comparative suffering and mine's not as bad as theirs, so I'm not going to get help. No, get the help. Reach out. Like you said, call for backup. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna cover three things. First thing that Mark said was, he's right. This is something that we talked about on the last podcast you and I did when we were doing a suicide prevention, is like, when we're on active duty, when you're downrange or whatever, we have no problem asking for help. Even if it's just training. Hey man, can you carry this mortar barrel? Whatever. We have no problem asking for help. But for some reason, when we get out of uniform and we get back out to the first civilian world, the first thing we do is we stop asking for help. We figured no one understands, no one hears us, and we don't ask for help at all. We're tough guys. I'm a warrior. I'm an elite warrior. I'm a Marine. I don't ask for help. I don't have weakness. I don't cry. I'm not vulnerable. And we play that role. And it's amazing how on active duty, I would ask you for anything into the world. But when I get out of uniform, I won't even ask you to, hang out with me. I just go reclusive. And Mark's hit something on the second part that I want to get to, is just make that phone call. Me and Mike were talking about this. One of my attempts, I'm not proud of this, but I was sitting in my truck, a little inebriated, had a pistol to the bottom of my chin, was about to pull the trigger when the phone rang. And it was one of my Marines, and he literally was like, "Hey, dumbass, what are you doing?" And I was like, I'm having a bad day, dude. I just don't want to talk right now. And I tried to hang up on him. He goes, "You hang up on me, I'm going to kick your ass." He goes, "Talk to me. Tell me what you're going through." And I told him I was having some bad dreams. I'm having these nightmares about when we were in the streets of Fallujah. I couldn't get it out of my head. Fallujah broke me. It literally broke my back. The amount of loss and suffering and just everything that we went through. So I was dealing with that, and I wasn't dealing with it well, and I was doing everything you should not do. His phone call, hands down, saved my damn life that night. So we have to reach out and call them. Even if they get pissed off at you and they don't want to listen to you, talk to them. Get them to open up. Get them to do something. Go have a conversation with them. Go sit in a park bench with them. Go down to the beach with them. Go have a cup of coffee with them. But reach out to them. Now I call my friends whether they want to hear it or not. If Mike's having a bad day, I'm going to call him and piss him off just because I know it'll keep him happy and he'll be in a better place. He won't be thinking about bad stuff anymore.
You do that regardless of if I'm having a bad day or not, but
Correct.
I appreciate it.
But, I extend the same to Mark. Like, Mark, if you need my contact information, get it, dude. You can call me. I don't care. We'll talk. We'll talk all night if you want to. Trauma is trauma. We both seen a lot. We both seen a lot. And it's one of those things where if you don't talk about it, dude, brother, it's going to eat you alive. And I'm the same place. And I think that's why what you're doing is amazing. What Mike's doing is amazing. You guys are reaching out to your brothers and your sisters out there and saying, hey, let's come together. Let's have that camaraderie. Let's talk. Let's get this stuff worked out. Why can't we ask for help now? We ask for help when we're in this shit, but we won't ask for it now. I don't understand that. There's a disconnect there. So maybe that disconnect can be cured by just simply reaching out. Us taking that step, that initiative. Give a call, should put something on the website, whatever. But getting that word out there saying, hey, man, you want to talk? Just talk to me. That's all I could think of.
John, when you were sharing your story about that a suicide attempt in your friend calling, I got instant chills. And it's all of you have alluded to that. Like if you have somebody on your mind, call them. And 9 times out of 10 I do, but there's the one time that I don't. And now you can bet your ass that when I think of you guys, I'll be calling you because who knows, that could have been the moment that I could have saved somebody's life, right? And I will never forget, Mark, you put it in such a perspective that I've never heard it before now, where when I'm speaking with other veterans and reminding them that, hey, you had no problem asking for help when you were in active duty, to be able to do that now, right? When you're going through your dark days. That is so powerful. Like if I didn't learn anything over the last 5 hours, this last 15 minutes has completely changed my life anyways. I don't know what anybody else is watching, but thank you, gentlemen. Absolutely amazing what you've just all shared.
So I'm going to go out and make an executive decision, and Dorothy and everyone else can yell at me. I want to contribute to the auction. And I have 3 Heroes, Badges, and Warriors Challenge coins.
Wow.
That we're going to put up for auction. All right. So, Dorothy, do you want to?
And Kimberly's in India. So Kimberly's in India, but we'll go ahead and we'll do this. That's the president.
So, mad at me?
What did I say? Hey, sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
No. There were conditions when I was asked, and I'll show the back, and these are numbered. If I can find the camera.
There we go.
So,
Friend, what are they worth? I don't even remember.
We usually let these go for a $50 donation. The Heroes, Badges, and Warriors. Okay. But you guys can go because it's a great cause. We need to get our brothers that need to get out to the ranch out there to help them. I have 3 of them sitting here on my desk. I just need to know where to send them.
Well, that's okay, because when we know who to send them, we'll let you know. So I don't know. We can go with the same thing. Anybody who makes a $50 donation, their name can go in the draw for that as well.
So we got to put them in the raffle.
In the raffle. Put it in the raffle, Michael.
There we go.
I have 3 of them sitting here. And the ones that win, because they're all numbered, I would go so far as say I don't know what numbers I have. I just know the 3 that were sitting here. But if you win and you have a favorite number or a number that you would like, I will see if it's available.
Let's not confuse it. Just the 3 that you have. It's already been a confusing night. We'll just go with the 3 that you have in front of you.
We're like, what? No. Yeah, we'll if you make a $50 donation, you get it entered in for a chance for one of these 3 challenge coins on top of the books.
On top of the books, yes. That's amazing. On top of, hold on.
But wait, there's more.
There's more because every $50 donation goes into the books. Every $100 gets you into the entry of the autographed shirts and hats from Reggie Walker, and 2 book entries.
2 book entries.
2 book entries.
So if you're gonna donate 50, I'll just want to make it 100 and get a chance to add an autographed shirt and a book, and now a challenge coin.
And
so
now
technically, there's potentially a chance that you could win a autographed hat or shirt, a book, and a challenge coin. Potentially.
Potentially.
You're just upping your odds here.
That's right.
It's like a win-win. Like donate $100 and you get something out of it.
Well,
when these coins
I put my money where my mouth is, and I just donated $100. So if I can do it, guys.
Yeah, you're in there. You're in the running. And even Holly donated too, because she said she had to have one of these crosses. So
exactly.
And
so,
I can tell you, for you challenge coin junkies that are out there, we made a limited number of these, and the next ones won't be the same.
ooh, so very limited.
Very
I can
limited.
tell you, yeah, I can tell you, I got to inject a little bit of humor here because that's kind of what, we have this sense of humor that I love to, that's where our camaraderie comes from. You ever seen the movie Range 15? It was made by the guys from Black Rifle Coffee Company, Matt Best and them. And it's quirky, it's stupid, but it shows our military style humor. And there's this part in that movie where they try to sneak into the gate and they hold up challenge coins. And the two guards are like, "Oh, challenge coins!" And they grab them and they just hold them like, "This is my precious." It is so true. I'm a challenge coin guy myself. I have an entire cigar box, full of challenge coins. I saw the challenge coins and I'm like, I'm digging out my wallet. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a donation too.
oh snap!
Yeah,
right,
Mark showed the challenge coin and I was like, "Oh, I'm in. I'm so in right now."
Speaking of challenge coins, what's your highest challenge coin, John?
Oh man, I have so many from the different units I worked with. I would say I got one from President Bush. I also had, when I was wounded, he came to the hospital. I don't remember. I was pretty doped up. I got wounded severely, and I just remember that there's a coin on my chest and a Purple Heart on a pillow, and I'm just like, I was pretty out of it. I had a skull fracture, so yeah. And then I remember I had three commandants coins from 3 different commandants from the Marine Corps.
You got me beat because my highest is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I got the chairman, vice chairman, commandant, and assistant commandant. So you got me beat. I don't have a presidential, so I would lose if we were at the bar.
Well, my most coveted that happened to me, and this was a story that came back right after 9/11. I was deploying to Afghanistan, and I don't know how it happened. I don't know who had the connections, but the chief of police and a fire chief from New York City came to Camp Lejeune because they knew we were deploying and stuff like that. I guess somehow whenever they brought coins and they brought a piece of the flag that was actually on the North Tower, but they brought the coins from their different stat ladders and stuff like that. We carried those coins with us into combat. And then again, I had those coins with me when we went into Iraq and so on and so forth. Those are my most coveted. I mean, these were, the losses that were endured because of 9/11 from the firefighters that went in there was just beyond heroic. So we carried those with us downrange. We carried them in Afghanistan and Iraq. And those are my most coveted possessions. I did over the years, and through a divorce, I lost a piece of the flag, but I still have those challenge coins. I pull them out every year. It's something I personally do. And like I said, those mean the world to me. So there is a lot of meaning behind the coins, especially some of the units I belong to, some of the specialized units and some of the things I got to do. Those are very meaningful, so it's a big deal, but that coin is amazing, Mark. It's amazing.
John's like, I need that.
Who knew that a challenge coin can get a $100 donation, right?
It's like,
Like,
oh wait, hold on. We'll take. Forget the autographs. We'll take the challenge coin. That's veterans and first responders for you.
Well, see,
Dude,
I'm-
a challenge coin from a fireman. I'm in. I'm in.
Well, hey, you want let's pause the conversation there for a moment. Let's throw up what we guys what we've got up
What
for
we've got?
auction for you guys.
All right, so let's
Pass
just
it
go
over
back
to
to
Dorothy.
this. We have opening bids for the BTS Fitness 3-month program starting at $500. We have the Body Balance Drops at $100 opening bid. 5-night stay in Hawaii, $1,000. The Cost of Freedom, beautiful artwork done by our very own Michael Parker, $250. Mountains in the Night, again, another beautiful piece by our very own Michael Parker for $150. Strong Foundations Coaching, 5 different ones available to 5 different veterans, 1 hour, starting the bid at $75. Reggie Walker autographed jersey, starting at $150. Reggie and David autograph football, $100. And for every $50 donation, you get 1 entry into 13 of our books. Every $100 donation, we have an entry into the autographed shirts and hats by Reggie Walker. We now have the coin, the what did you call them, Mark?
Challenge coins.
Challenge coins from Heroes, Badges, and Warriors, and 2 entries into the books. The books are by, oh, look at that. Use that amazing challenge coin there from Heroes, Badges, and Warriors. From our first fireman on the show. I've had police officers, but I haven't had firemen yet. All right.
Well, you know,
perfect.
second appearance with you, Dorothy.
Sorry?
You know, this is my second appearance with you.
Oh, that's true. This is my second. It is your second appearance.
Yeah, you had me on once, but I duty called that first time, and I came in towards the
Yes.
end, and came back towards the end.
That's right. We were talking about men's vulnerability. That's right.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Right.
And yeah, I didn't forget about it. I still haven't watched it either.
Dude, go to my YouTube channel and watch it right now. No,
all right,
after you
Sorry,
get
I
off
have
here.
no idea what just happened for the last minute because there is a hornet flying around right there, and it was landing on my mic, which is by my. I was like, no.
I saw you trying to cup it.
It didn't work.
So, guys, in order to get into the auction, just tell us which one you're bidding for. Put it in the comments, and for those of you that win, Michael will be getting a hold of you to give you the place to donate for the auction items. But if you're just doing a regular donation, definitely go to donate.stripe.com/CNTGOLFEB6UD2J000.
Hopefully, you guys caught that. She will not be repeating it because we will not allow her. It's at the bottom of the screen, though.
I'm tired. Can you tell?
I'm sure you're going to put the link in the bio.
The link is in the bio
It
multiple
is,
times.
yes. Multiple
Michael
times.
and Dorothy have made sure that it's in there for you guys.
Yes.
Also, if you're still watching this, thanks. We appreciate it. But make sure you guys comment, like, share, so that way it
Yes.
reaches more people. Maybe you're not able to donate. Maybe somebody in your network is. So that's something we should have said hours ago. But
Friend,
we get smarter.
I did
as the
this
night goes on.
morning. I did this morning.
We
might
get
sleep.
smarter as the night goes on.
Yes. And we have half an hour of this live event, but that doesn't mean that we can't continue this offline.
And we might actually end up carrying this over and just doing some bids on items each day. Keep it going. I think Mark and John and I and everyone that's been on here has emphasized the importance of like these retreats and getting guys out there. And it's important. For me personally, it's I'm tired of losing brothers and sisters. I'm tired of reading these statistics and hearing these numbers and nothing changing. We need more action. And how do you do that? You help guys find their mission and their purpose and their identity after the uniform comes off. We don't need most of us don't need medication. We don't need a handout. We need a hand up. We need guidance. And that's what it's about. It's just getting them out, giving them the guidance they need. Hey, yeah, thank you, Holly, for sharing. She's like, got to reshare this. Thank you, Holly, again for coming on here. Your story is so beautiful and touching to everyone that hears it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Also, we still have some of these crosses available with your donation.
That's right.
So, John, when you make that donation,
you're going to get multiple draws, man.
Yeah. I mean, we're just stacking the value on you. Why would you not donate? Like, the odds are ever in your favor, as the Hunger Games would say.
Yes. Well, if I get one of those autographed shirts, that would be a great Christmas gift.
You know some Arizona Cardinal fans?
Well, it's funny because, I never watched the Cardinals at all until last night the Cardinals were on. And I'm like, shit, never even heard of this team. And then all of a sudden, there's the Cardinals.
I gotta say a funny story, and I can tell it because Reggie's not here, but I texted him yesterday to find out about like the items, and he finally texted me back, and he's like, hey, sorry, I was at the Cardinals game. I was like, oh, so you're mad, aren't you? And he's like, what? Why? I was like, they lost, man. He's like, what? They were up by 20 points when I left. And so I sent him the screenshot, and I was like, or no, he said something like, he's like, I left 40 minutes ago. They were up by 20 points. Why would I be mad? And I was like, send him a screenshot of the final, and he's like, suck. I was like, oh, poor Reggie.
I have to ask. So Arizona Cardinals. Is it Arizona?
Arizona.
Yeah. Do they also have a baseball team too?
The Arizona Diamondbacks. Yep.
You're thinking the St. Louis Cardinals.
No.
Yeah.
Well, do you know Trent Walker? Or Trent Walker. I'm not committed. Trent Clark. 3-time World Series coach. Now, World Series. That's baseball. That's baseball. That's not football.
Football.
Never mind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't pertain to this. So while we're going to take a little bit of a break here, we're going to go and we're going to share a testimony of one of the guys that has been on through the second chance branch. So let's.
By the way, before she does that, he also donated to this retreat. So thank you, Ari. He didn't tell me to keep it a secret, so I'm going to put it out there too. Thanks, buddy.
There we go.
He paid me for his testimony. He paid me for his testimonial.
Oh my God.
The reason I ended up going was because my community just was pretty much non-existent. This last year has been pretty rough, and I needed to get together with the guys, and being out there was kind of a reminder to slow down and don't rush to get to the final result, because life happens, and to just enjoy the journey. And that's really kind of helped me refocus my life after coming back from the trip. It's like 100% I'm going to come out and meet some guys from the local area. It was great. You put on a great event, and it was super relaxing, super enjoyable, and probably at least the highlight of my year so far. And thank you for doing that. Your organization's awesome. I grew up in Central Illinois. I actually grew up with 2 horses, and so it's been a long time since I got to spend some time with horses. And to go out on this retreat and not expect anything, and then get the chance to go ride for a couple hours, I mean, that was awesome. 100% the highlight of the weekend. I had been out for over 6 years, and I had not been contacted by anyone until I've been to your retreat. And I think a lot of veterans just kind of feel isolated and alone once they get out. You kind of miss that brotherhood. There's not a good way to connect with guys in your local area, and so I would say it's extremely important. The more we have opportunities to get out and connect with each other, that's what's going to help save the lives.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's why we're here tonight, right? We're raising money so that we can get other veterans. And this is the first time that Michael's going to put NFL veterans and regular military veterans, thank you, together, and get them the help that they need. So that's why we're here. If you're just tuning in now, we have some amazing things up for auction items. Here they are listed. So we have the BTS Fitness 3-month program. Starting bid is $500. And by the way, that is online. So you don't have to live in this gentleman's area. It is online. So
it includes nutrition, coaching, like a design fitness plan for you. He helps you map it all out, and mindset training as well. So everything you need, whether you're trying to lose weight, put on weight, put on muscle, whatever you're trying to do, he'll tailor that for that 3-month program for you. So awesome deal. It's $750 value, starting the bidding at $500. So $500, that's a good deal.
Absolutely. You got the Body Balance Drops with Dawn Hill, starting at $100. That also includes 1-month consultation with her as well. And it's not weight loss. The weight loss is a side effect, a good side effect, if that's what you need. But it's also balancing hormones and balancing your gut health, which gut health is extremely important. And we don't realize just how important that is. So that's $100 to start the bid there. A 5-night stay in Hawaii. The value of that was over $1,600, starting the bid at $1,000. The cost of freedom artwork for Michael is $250. Look at that amazing piece. Definitely should go. If Holly's still watching, it should go on that wall. Mountain in the Night is $150. Beautiful, another piece of artwork. We have Strong Coaching Foundation. There's a word missing there. Strong Foundations Coaching. There is 5 sessions available for 5 different veterans. Starting bid of that is $75. It's a 1-hour coaching call with Jennifer Sahari. We also have Reggie Walker autograph jersey. Starting bid is $150, and the Reggie and Dave Carter autograph football is $100. And we also have for every $50 donation, your name will go into 1 entry out of the 13 books that we have. For
and
every $100 and 3 challenge coins, right? 1 of 3 challenge coins. For every $100 donation, you get that beautiful, for the first 17 now, you get the beautiful cross that Michael has made. autographed T-shirt and hat by Reggie Walker as well, and 2 book entries into the books that we have. One of which is Coordinating Chaos with Dr. Christy Matusik. The other one is, I'm trying to find the thing here.
When That Day Comes by
When That Day.
Chris Hoyer.
That's right. And the other one by yours truly. All right. So we have 17 minutes left in this. It's 5.5 hours. It seemed like when I did the 24 hours, it seemed a lot shorter than this. I don't know what this is today.
Hey, I mean, we did kind of throw this together last minute, and we've been putting a lot of effort into this. And thank you for everyone that came on here and saved us all the time of talking, because, oh man, we'd be worn out if it wasn't for everybody that hopped on here. And thank you to everyone that's tuned in. If you're still watching this, let us know that you're watching. Comment in there. Help it reach more people. Even if you can't donate or don't want to donate, help us push it out there so others can see it and others can donate. It's all about getting our veterans out there into nature and helping them heal. We've been talking with John and Mark here and sharing their stories and why this is so important. We've seen the testimonial from Ari, who's like, I can't wait to go out on another retreat. So we'll probably be putting on another one down in Texas again next year. But yeah, you guys.
Love that. Yes, thank you so much for Holly for sharing her story. For Dawn Hill for coming on and sharing about her business. Shay for coming on as well. I'm trying to think. I remember everybody's name. Sorry. I'm getting slow here, closer to the end. Thank you, John and Mark, for sharing your story. Very impactful. Like I said, the last half hour has been absolutely amazing. It seems like
I jumped on here earlier.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm honored to be
They
on
sure
here.
do.
You had some amazing people on here earlier, and Holly is just an amazing human being. She's just awesome. And being a Gold Star mother, having to face many Gold Star mothers over the years was the most difficult thing in my life. I'd rather go into a room full of insurgents, to be honest. It's hard. But again, my hat's off to her. The people you had on here is amazing. Mark, you're amazing. I thank you for everything and those amazing coins you put up there. So I donated 100, hopefully. So, yeah, I'm honored. I'm blessed to be here, and actually get to meet everybody here. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you, and to be a part of the ranch.
So is John one of the Marines that's on your show then, Michael?
He is.
I'm just putting
John
together now.
John started joining us, adding his old age wisdom, retired gunny wisdom, helping us young bucks out. No, I gotta give him some crap every now and then. Now that he doesn't have the rank of gunny, he still does. But he can give shit.
Do you ever lose your rank?
Not when you retire.
Well, when you get out, you have to. I had to re-identify. Yes, I was a Marine, and I was a Marine for 2 decades and another decade as a private security contractor doing that stuff. And I had to redefine what my identity was and who I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. And you do hold on to that. And one of the things that I think that was missed here is like what Mark's been doing for 17 years and what I did for close to 30 years with the 2 elements combined. It's the same job, just different paychecks. But the thing of it is you get done with that and you have a hard time finding your identity because for so long you've been something. And I know the odds are stacked against you. The longer you're in, the more exposure, the more trauma you're going to have, the harder it is going to be for you to adjust, the harder it is for you to move forward and move on. And that's been a huge, huge part of my journey the last 10 years is trying to, I was proud to be a Marine, proud to be a gunnery sergeant, proud to do the things that I did and be able to serve and be a part of that. But at the same time, I'm also proud to be just John. I'm proud to be an ultra marathoner. I'm proud to be that a cancer survivor. I'm proud to, I'm proud to do a lot of things that I'm a businessman. I own my own company now. So these are things that I can attach to. So it's not just that thing. These are my new identity. These are my new missions, my new focus. And all of this stuff encompasses around me being able to get back to my community, get back to veterans and first responders, and to help as many people as I possibly can. And of course, my company will give me the financial means to do that, because a lot of this stuff to help other people, it does take money. There is a monetary value to it. Hence why we're doing this for the ranch. This stuff doesn't come cheap. I mean, helping people is great, but again, it does take a lot of money and resources to do so. And again, I have more questions than answers, but I'm pushing forward. But yes, you carry that rank and you carry that with you. Like, once a Marine, always a Marine. That's a motto for us. But I can't let that define me anymore. Yes, I was a Marine. Yes, it was a big part of my life. Yes, I am a combat veteran. But again, it's one of those things where I prefer you to just call me John or JT and see me as a good old boy that I am. I'm just a hillbilly and a cowboy. I'm just a guy who loves outdoors, loves to go running, loves to hunt and fish, and hang out and have me a nice cold one every now and then.
The only time he likes you to call him Gunny is if you call him Gramps. And then he says it's Gunny Gramps to you.
Yeah.
Okay, but isn't a gunny like... Explain to me again what a gunny is, because I know Michael's explained it, but it's gone.
Well, you have a rank structure. You have enlisted, warrant officers, and officers. And in the Marine Corps, a gunnery sergeant specifically, you only can get promoted 2 more times, whether you go master sergeant, first sergeant, or master guns and sergeant major. But a gunnery sergeant rank in the Marine Corps is coveted, especially in the job of infantry, because the company gunny or the gunnery sergeants in the infantry are the gurus. They have all the experience. They have all the training. Typically, they have more combat experience than anybody in the company. They're responsible for, helping the CO out, training those young lieutenants, those young staff NCOs, and those young NCOs, along with making sure they have all the tools they need to train. You wear many hats as a gunnery sergeant. And again, the young Marines all the way up through the staff NCOs, and to include most of the junior officers up to the rank of captain and even major, they look to you for all the guidance and experience. They're going to learn from you. They're going to be watching you, and you're going to hold them accountable. Gunnies in the Marine Corps, especially in the infantry, are almost like godlike figures. And when you get put onto that, man, it was my favorite rank, but it was the scariest rank because there's so much responsibility. There's so many things that you're in charge of. You're responsible for everything that these guys do, everything that they train for. And when they go down range, you hope and pray that they listen to you, that they understand what they got to do and what their focus and their mission is. And you're there to support them, and you're there to keep them going. And unfortunately, when we lose them, you're the guy who's going to put them in the body bag. You're the guy who's going to inventory their gear. You're the guy who's going to help the CO write the letter and help the lieutenant write the letter. So these are, it's a massive amount of responsibility. But again, it's one of the most coveted ranks within the Marine Corps. I've known officers, I've known warrant officers, and all of them saying that gunnery sergeant is the one rank that everybody seems to remember and wants to be.
Everybody loves Gunny, unless you're in trouble. You don't ever want to hear Gunny wants to see you. Those are the scariest words. That's scarier than CO or whatever. Gunny wants to see you. You're like, oh dang, what did I do this time?
So basically, there was no disrespect when I asked that before. Obviously, you're John, but I also know some military veterans that if you don't call them by their rank, they get very upset too. So, but when you retire with the rank gunny. Is that
correct?
Right or no?
But I don't require anybody to. Yeah, when people call me gunny nowadays, it's like a term of endearment for me. You don't have to call me gunny. You can call me John, JT, old man. You could call me, hey, dumbass. I'll answer to any of them above. I'm okay with it.
Just don't call them late for dinner.
Names. Yeah, don't call me late for dinner. So
I just sent you a connection request on LinkedIn, John, because I want to hear more of your story and I want to hear your cancer story. I lost my dad to cancer 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
So I would love to connect with you on that as well.
Well, that was a big milestone recently. Friday, I just found out. I've been fighting this for a while. I just found out Friday I am now officially in remission after doing a round of chemo. I had stage 2 colon cancer, and I'm in remission now. And now the next 3 to 5 years is critical. It was hard for me because all my life I've been an athlete. I run marathons and ultra marathons on a regular basis. I've been an elite warrior and an elite athlete most of my life. So I've always watched what I've ate. I don't do drugs. I never smoked. I drink mostly in moderation, except for the bad years. But a lot of veterans now that are serving in Afghanistan and Iraq, 1 in 7 are coming down with various types of cancer. And when they told me I had cancer, it stopped my whole world, because I'm on this growth. I'm on this healing. I started a company. I'm starting to actually reach out and help people. And then all of a sudden you're telling me that I'm going to die. And I'm like, I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die. I have too many things I got to do. So I figured, I got my positive mindset going. I was like, you know what? Afghanistan didn't kill me. Iraq didn't kill me. Syria didn't kill me. I'm not going to let cancer kill me. I'm not going out like this. I got too many things I want to do, too many things I want to accomplish. And, God put me on a right path, and I'm going to follow it. So I fought hard. I tell people all the time, cancer does suck, but anybody who's had cancer and gone into the treatments will tell you that cancer treatments suck even worse. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But going through chemo, it was so hard to keep my head up. But I had so many good friends. I had veterans. I had family. And of course, a lot of veterans are my family. I had so many people that were in that corner that were helping me. So I wasn't alone. I didn't try to do this alone. And there was nights where I'm curled up. I can't even move. I have never been in that much pain before. And they're talking to me on the phone saying, you're going to be okay. It's just one more day. You got to remember, for 6 months, you're sick every day. And it's not like a normal type of sick. It's terrifying. It's bad. Chemo sucks.
Well, when you said body bag, I got a triggered moment, because I put my dad in a body bag. So I understand. I don't understand to the degree that you've had to do it, but I got a vision of that. I was like, oh shit. Okay, flashback. But yeah,
it happens.
It's one of those diseases that I don't wish on anybody. And you're right, chemo sucks. And
Yeah, part of being a leader, like when you're a gunnery sergeant too, and Mike knows exactly what I'm going to say next, is we won't tell our Marines we love them, but you love them like your own children. So when you have to put them in a body bag, you got to inventory their gear, and you got to write that. These are your children. These are Marines that you trained for the last 6 months to 2 years, however long you trained before you deployed to a combat zone. These are your kids. You love them more than your own children. You spend more time with them than your own children, your own family. So the loss that you feel is just that I can't replace what a parent loses a child, but I can understand it from a point of view that it's devastating. I mean, for us, it's devastating. For their parents, my heart goes out to them. I can't even put it into words. So, like I said, that's the one part about leadership, is as you get higher up in the chain, and even Mark, I know that, and even in the firefighting community, and even the law enforcement guys that I know that are seniority and been there, they're the go-to guys. They're the ones who make shit happen. And, when they lose someone like a trainee or someone that's younger, it really messes with you. It really is a hard day, but so it's hard. I know those flashbacks well. I deal with them every day.
And I'm here for you anytime you need somebody who just somebody to listen. I obviously don't know what you've been through, but I'm here to listen. If reach out anytime.
A lot of times I tell people it's not about the understanding. I get it. There's this huge disparity between, the military and civilian population, because so few of us serve, and there's a huge disconnect. And then you don't want to listen to what the news media and social media and all the other idiots out there are telling about you, because most of it's bullshit anyways. And, I tell people that you got to educate. Like, I'm talking to my fellow veterans now. You have to educate the civilians. Tell them why you served, why you joined, why you were willing to make that sacrifice, and things like that, and bridge that gap, and make them understand that, I'm a person too. I'm your neighbor. I'm your sons, your daughters, your brother, the guy you were in class with, the guy you went to high school with. I'm hurting and I just want you to talk to me. Like me, I'm a good old boy. You talk to me about trucks, country music, hunting, or fishing, and it gets my mind off the war. I'm cool. You know, Mark, you're down there in Florida. I know a lot about fishing off of the Keys there. One of my favorite spots to fish. So maybe we should look at doing that someday. But
Sold.
you just want
Sounds
to talk
good.
to people. You have a story. You want to get it out. That does, doesn't it? And I would love to hang out with you, Mark, and talk to you and hear your stories as well. And I know both of us would have more in common than we could ever imagine.
And that's something with doing this, with being involved, that I've noticed. Not only is there a huge number of veterans that become firefighters and police officers, for some reason, there's a lot of freaking Marines in the fire service, and I love it.
We're crazy sons of guns, you know. Takes something crazy to run into a fire, and we're already there. So what's one step further, right?
It's not a far jump. But it's
oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say I've been trying to find a local volunteer fire department to get on that's close enough to take me, because I'm like, yeah, I want to go be a firefighter.
No words.
Mark's like, oh Lord, help them.
it's a trap. It's seriously addicting.
Oh,
It is.
All right, guys.
But hey, I just want to take a moment here. Like, what's been happening in this last, 20, 30 minutes? This is what happens for 3 days on these retreats. Like you get, except we're not sitting in front of a screen doing this. We're sitting out there. We're going fishing. We're going hiking, kayaking, riding horses. Whatever the activities are, right? We're out there doing that. We're having these conversations around a fireside late at night, and we're diving into stuff deeper than what we talked about here. And that's what these retreats do. You can see how we're all sharing our stories and healing, and allowing those other ones that are just watching right now, right? Like, if you're listening to this, you might be like, dang, I can relate to that. That's what happens out on these retreats. So that's why this is important. So I know we're coming up on the end. So I'm thinking, if you guys haven't donated, donate. I'm thinking what we do is we're gonna put one of these items up on auction per day until I've worked our way through them, and get some money raised that way. So if you didn't get to tune in live and you get to watch this later and you're like, dang, I wanted to shot at that, you got one more chance. Stay tuned. Make sure to follow Second Chance Rehabilitation Ranch on Facebook, Instagram at 2CR Ranch, or here on LinkedIn. If you're tuning in on LinkedIn, make sure you follow Second Chance Rehabilitation Ranch and myself, and you can see when those items come up, and then just comment on there, and whoever's got the highest bid at the end of that 24-hour period, we'll do each one for 24 hours on there, and we'll do the donations. If you donate $100 before, what's the day? Monday? What do you want to say? John, Mark, I'll let y'all pick the day. What day are we ending the raffle?
I guess
You're
we
like,
go
damn, you
Tuesday
put
or
us on the
Wednesday.
spot.
Either one.
Friday, the 20th,
Friday the what?
the 22nd.
The 22nd. I thought you said the 27th. I was like, oh, we giving them 2 weeks. The
No, that's the 22nd.
Okay, yeah. So if you donate, again, $50 gets you in for one of those 3 challenge coins and an entry for those 13 books. So every $50. So let's reiterate that. If you donate say $500, that's 10 entries for a book or the challenge coin. And then for every $100 you donate, gets you an entry in for one of the autographed shirts or hats, and also 2 book and challenge coin entries. So if you donate $100, you're doubling your chances of winning something. So there is a chance that you could win. If you donated $100, you could win one of those autographed hats and one of the books or challenge coins.
That's a lot.
So
why wouldn't you go donate?
The odds
right
are
now?
ever in your favor. Okay.
Go donate right now. Because
I mean, if you're going to donate 50, why not make it 100 and double your chances of winning something?
And the next 17 people still have that beautiful cross.
Actually, we're down to 13 people. Get one of these crosses made by yours truly, American flag themed. Got some custom tooling on there with the poppy. And if you guys didn't tune in and hear Holly's story, that's the significance behind the poppy, is its remembrance. So these are special made by me with love for you guys. So.
With love. With that, we are sending love to all of you that are on here. Big love. Thanks again, Mark and John, for staying with us and completing tonight. And stay tuned and go to Michael's LinkedIn profiles or Facebook profiles or Second Chance Rehabilitation page. And each day we will put out an auction item and go from there. Any last comments before I sign us
looks
off?
like we got somebody that just saw this. Hey, Tammy, appreciate you tuning in. So actually, let's go over the items one more time, like what we've got up for raffle and auction. So we're wrapping up for the night, but what we're gonna do is, for those that are caught it late or just now, or we'll see this later. We're gonna these are the bid items we have. You want to pop up the pictures? So yeah, the beautiful graphics site.
Oops, let me take those comments down. 1 second. Sorry. Where the shit did it go?
Technology. There we go. So yeah, so one of the auction items that we have available is this 3-month program. It's a mindset training and nutrition program donated by our friends at BTS Fitness, which is a special operation, veteran-owned coaching. So he's going to help you create a nutrition plan, a custom workout plan, weekly video coaching calls, access to the private training app. He's going to help you with all of that. It's a $750 value. Bids start at $500 on that one. Then we have 5 nights in Hawaii. This is just the hotel accommodations. So there's a couple resorts that you can choose from. This is a over $1,800 value. We're starting the bids on that at $1,000. And just to clarify, this doesn't cover travel costs or your activities while you're there, just the luxury hotel. And as somebody that lived in Hawaii and has been stuck on this one side of the island and had to rent a hotel, I can tell you the cheapest hotel you're going to find for a night is like close to $200. So to get a luxury hotel, that's a good bet. Next, we have these body balance drops quickly addressing you, Tammy. Yes, there is a link on Facebook. You can share on Facebook. If you go to Second Chance Rehabilitation Ranch, you can share the live there. And there's also on my Facebook, Second Chance's Instagram, which is 2CR Ranch, and our Second Chance's LinkedIn page. There's these slides with all of the items that are for up for auction. But yeah, we got the Slenderies body balance drops. So this is a $300 value. Also on top of the product helps with your body reset. You help with weight loss, or if you're trying to cut, it will help with that. So if you're a bodybuilder, you're trying to cut, it'll help with that, help with gut health. And it includes a month of telehealth consultations. The starting bid for that is $100. And again, that's a $300 value. We have 5 of these coaching calls from the Strong Foundation. These are 1-hour coaching calls, and they're open for 5 veterans. Even if you're not a veteran, but you want to bid on this because you know a veteran that could use it, just a few of the services that Jen Sahara offers are life support. Life support. That sounds like you're dying. Not that kind of life support, but like support with your life, anxiety and depression, confidence, health and wellness. To find out more of the list, you can go to her website down there at the bottom, jensahari.com. And those are $165 value, and we're starting the bid on each of those at $75. So yeah, great option. Then we have a couple leather art pieces made by yours truly. That's me. So we have up there at the top left in that picture, you'll see the one that's titled "The Cost of Freedom" with a Marine and the American flag and a poppy. That one's starting at $250, and then there is Mountains in the Night, which is we're starting the bid at, I think we said $150 on that one. That one is a 8 by what is it? 8.5 by 11.
Yes.
Whatever the picture frame size is. So you can actually get a
8.5
nice
by
picture frame and put it in the picture frame and hang it up on your wall and make it look really nice. Then we have some autographed items. The ones we are auctioning off is we have a Arizona Cardinals football autographed by Reggie Walker, who's a retired NFL linebacker, and David Carter, who's a retired NFL defensive lineman, and also the first vegan NFL player. And then we have an autographed Reggie Walker jersey. So the football bids start at $100. The jersey starts at $150. I was going to say, while you had that other one up, we have some items that we're raffling off. So as we said, with $50, that was all the bid items, right?
Yes, that was all the bid items. Yeah.
So yeah, with the raffle, the raffle items, we have what was it? 3 hats and 5 T-shirts signed by Reggie Walker and David Carter that will be raffled off. So every $100 you donate gets you 1 entry in for one of those autographed items. And for every $50 you donate, you get entered in for a chance to win one of these 3 books here. When the Day Comes by Chris Hoyer. Those are autographed by him. And he said he's going to get them autographed by Lieutenant Colonel retired Dave Grossman. We have 10 special edition copies of yours truly, Dorothy Odell's book, The Overcomer. and then 1 copy of Coordinating the Chaos by, I will let you say her name because I will mess it up so bad.
Dr. Chrissy Matusik.
There we go. Also for the $50, if you donate $50, we got 3. Do you have them in front of you? All right. 3 of these Heroes badges and Warriors coins. So let me explain that to you a little more. So if you donate $50, you're entered in to win one of those 3 challenge coins or one of the 13 books. You donate $100, you get 2 entries in to win one of those, and you get 1 entry to win one of the autographed shirts or hats. So if you were to donate $500, you would get 10 entries for the books and coins. 5 entries. Math is not a Marine's favorite subject. You would get 5 entries in for one of the autographed items. So there is a chance that you could win. Those are 2 separate raffles. So there is a chance that you could win one of those autographed items and one of the books or coins.
Wow. That's a great value, guys. So I'm not sure what you're waiting for. I would hop on over right now to this link and donate right this minute. And that way you can get into as many multiple things as possible, because for the next 13 people at $100 a piece, you will get a beautiful cross made by Michael. So go right now, walk, don't run. So if you made a $1,000 donation, that would take up 10 of those 13 crosses. So, go now. And they're handcrafted by your Marine veteran here. So it adds more value that way, I think.
And it's made with love.
Made with love.
It's made
That's
with
right.
love. That's the winning factor there. It's made with love.
We've got nothing
and
but love for everybody.
And one more time, the raffle will close on Friday at, let's say, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's 6 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. Math. 3 p.m. if you're on the West Coast. There we go. And then each day going forward, math. I don't remember how many items that was that we are auctioning, but one will go up on auction each day until we've covered all of them, and that will last for 24 hours. So just be paying attention. If you see one of those pop up that you're interested in, go ahead and put your bid in. Or if you're seeing this and you're like, hey, I want that, you can put your bid in on this chain. We'll monitor it and get back to you guys.
Absolutely. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you. Appreciate you, Michael, for allowing me to be here and host with you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And hearing John, your story, and Mark, you coming back on here. It's been and it's been an amazing last hour. Really learned a lot. So thank you guys. And don't forget, let's give a second chance to our veterans. And that's what we're here for the Second Chance Ranch. And yes, I will play out the outro.
Few wrong turns ago, back when I didn't know how to be a better me, a better shoulder, a willing heart to pull you closer, a human being human, walking miles in different shoes and trying to be a better me.